Hello everybody. My stream has started, but there was issues with other actions taken. Well, I wonder what that's all about. I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can, and I hope you're all doing very, very well out there. I have the charts up behind me at the minute, and we'll be taking a dive into them to see how mad XRP has gone and how stable Bitcoin has been over the last wee while in comparison. Let's take a look at Ripple first off and discuss, as I'm a little bit late to the party here. I was supposed to go live at 10 to, and it's 5 to now, so I'm 5 minutes late. And but don't feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for all the people who are late to the XRP party and got in at the 7.5 cents level. Woof! The prices went as high as 7.5 cents today, and back as low as 3.6 cents. That's crazy, isn't it? So we've got to feel sorry for all the people who are a little bit late into that run up the way and then only to watch the prices drop by 50% from where they were. They're 20% down on the day. What crazy price action we've seen over the period of the last 4 hours, well, not 4 hours, 8 hours I suppose, or maybe even 16 hours looking back the way. Going on the 24-hour chart, and you can see there's this crazy candle here, and I'm not going to go too much into the analysis on this one. Just I suppose we can look back here at our old technical analysis and remember that we saw there was this line here of liquidity. When the prices bust above that after this wick here the day before yesterday and went towards the top side, then of course this trade idea became active. Don't overtrade, remember to take profits, look for confirmations for entering trades. Well, that kind of all happened here, I suppose, all after a wee while. Now, I didn't actually trade this one myself. It's just interesting to see that there on the charts and that wise advice. Anyhow, well, the prices have obviously... Oh, you can't actually see the other moving average here. I put the charts to white just for a laugh today. Let me see here, make this one black maybe, just for the crack. So this is the 200 and the 50 period moving average. This is the 24-hour time frame, and we can see that they were coming close together here, looking like they maybe could come in for a death cross. And of course, that then is when the prices flew on past them. So on the 4-hour time frame, we can see, looking back, the way that just when the prices did break past this point of the resistance up above, that it went. There was also a golden cross here on the 4-hour time frame. So coming back down, looking like we could get a test of this 50 again in the near future. At the next, the advice from the past remains the case if you are trading XRP over the next wee while, is of course to remember not to overtrade. And one of those ways of not overtrading would be to repeatedly enter into positions if you got stopped out, you know, as the prices cascaded past several so-called support levels. As we look over to the left, there aren't very many of them. We've actually come back down to the only one that there was. On the way up, these weren't so great in terms of really giving us those supports. Now we are actually below this one. This is the most significant area before at 39 or 0.39. Similar sort of situation to what we can see when we look at Bitcoin in terms of structurally over the last wee while, I suppose, in a sense of how far down we've come since these highs up there at 42,000 to have gone all the way down as low as 28,000. It's not quite the same story, but obviously the daily time frame here, we're looking at a big drop off in the prices, and then of course the other day there we had this big rise up. It wasn't actually sufficient to take out any of the structure, came back down again, and it looks like we're coming in perhaps for a retest of this this pattern. We could be taking trades off the back of this this 50 simple period moving average, for instance. But we'll discuss all of that in more detail when we get round to it. Nice to see you there, by the way, Peter. By the way, I apologise for not getting in touch with you again after having said that. I should have apologised for that. Anyway, nice to see you there as well, Marcy. Nice to see you, John. Nice to see you, Nightbot. Nice to see you, K-Doc. Thanks for hitting like, everybody. Really appreciate everybody doing that. And then what else did I want to... I just wanted to give a quick brief sort of run through the wee coins, then I'll run the intro and all that. As well. So let me see the Lincoln Tezos parents first off here. We can see that with regards to Tezos, the chat we had the other day with like an aggressive entry on this being in around about 280. If you were looking to try and take longs off the back of it, of course, more sort of reasonable would have been down there at 270s, as we saw the prices go down too since making that video. So there's that, and then we're finding support in and around about this area. Again, like I say, this is an aggressive area if you're going to be going long on this. Of course, the overall plan on this one is to try and see if we can continue with the good times that we've had, this trend which is towards the top side. If this recent pullback in price action in this over the last sort of week or so is enough to have accounted for the previous bearish divergence on the oscillators, stuff like that, so we can continue and perhaps go in for one of these higher targets. Let me just change the colors on this. I don't know why I'm doing it white today. Just wanted to kind of mix things up a wee bit. I'll have to change the color of all these things to make them visible. Just stick it that as black as well. So yeah, we could be looking up towards these targets that we already had in mind from you know, if we were to go back up to previous highs, for instance, that's, you're talking about 448, going on up to one of the extensions beyond that, 526, etc., etc. All these sorts of ideas that are possible in the longer term, of course, you know, looking up towards the $6 and $7 area. But we did talk about this back when, you know, Tezos was in and around about these prices, and Link was maybe only a couple of bucks higher, and of course Link has been up and down at $20 and all the rest of it since. How is Link doing? Link over here at $22, not looking so brilliant with regards to the wedge that we drew in. Having never managed to move past any fake out zone, perhaps it's best to sort of rejig that. Maybe I'd drawn it on log, in fact, before. It was probably, yeah, that's what that would explain what's going on here, probably. So yeah, we're asking questions about this, but we're not getting any answer as yet. There's no volume coming in to say that we're doing any sort of break or anything like that. This is just kind of it's just a theoretical discussion about price action, right? And these things here could be positioned better. The construct, the idea is what we're more concerned about rather than the construction, right? If we want to put it that way. How about that? I just made that up, by the way. I just made that up. I just made up that phrase. So I wonder if that's a good one or not. You know, this DMI just showing us that we're just in a sideways period, as we have seen, obviously. So as it stands, it's the same sort of overall discussion with regards to Tezos. You know, minus the whole massive difference in price, where we're looking up towards these higher targets. You know, we've got various higher targets. We've already taken out our previous all-time high, of course, and we found support there again at that area. It didn't turn into some sort of cup with handle. We didn't really get that with retracement. You could have made that debate about this period just here, you know, between the 22nd November and the 10th of January before moving up the way, if you like. I think we probably did with the basin and everything else. And then, of course, with regards to the movement on it, it's hard to take into account this wick here if you're going to make a big full measured move off the thing. So, you know, that's something to consider. But we could be looking up towards the, you know, first off $27, $30, etc. We've talked about these things, but we could be going even higher still, of course. And let's just draw this in for the crack here for a start, and that takes us up towards $37, so you know, $37, $40, something like that. We've got various things to be aware of. You know, the divergences that we've seen on the RSI, we've not really managed to make it into the bullish control zone and stay within it without any divergence. But of course, that's not oversold divergence or overbought divergence. It's just simply just what we're seeing along the way. It's not extreme at the point of which you'd be really saying that you've got the demand for a reversal. Although of course we are set up for one if we wanted to do that, and we've got it easy to manage our assessment of any risk, I suppose you could say, in and around about these key areas for us. And if I could get this to line up, I'm on the wrong thing. There we go. We can see that the no sure thing indicator, which is just really a collection of moving averages, kind of all, you know, constructed with a faster set of average of moving averages versus a longer set of averages of moving averages. That's the construction of this thing. It's showing us that, of course, we're at a period where we're getting a little bit sideways. Well, we can see that right there on the chart as well. And finally, I guess Ethereum, then I'll run the intro clips and catch up with what everybody has been talking about in the charts so far. The discussion we've been having with regards to the price action here on the Ethereum charts is still the case overall. The color here not working out so great again with regards to the notes that I had on there. Higher highs and higher lows. Make that red, I suppose, this time round. So we've got that's the same idea, and of course as well the question of whether or not we are in a wedge right now. That still seems to be the case, and of course we've not broken out of it one side or the other. We are looking up towards the 1,800 area. There's areas in between 1,650. If we're looking down the way, then 1,200 as well is going to be an inflection point with a fake out zone below it extended down towards the 1,000 area, and a decent re-entry point if we do go into a correction in the market, as opposed to actually having the trend change on the bigger time frames, is down there at the 1,000 down as far as, unfortunately, $750, but we're talking $900 if it does actually do a correction at this stage, further than what we've already seen with regards to recent price movements. Of course, we're talking about stuff which is in highly volatile markets overall, of course. And I'll take a look at various coins. I forgot, I kind of promised to talk about XRP at the start and then didn't. Is that right, or did I wonder? Where are you? Here you are, XRP. Yes, we did talk about it a wee bit, I suppose. Yeah. Do we want to do much TA on this one? I'm not too sure. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you're looking for in today's episode, and if you're okay with it being in bright mode, maybe I'll stick over to dark mode. But I just wanted to kind of see all the different colors and maybe get a little different perspective on the price action. I don't actually know why my candles have changed color. That's a wee bit annoying. I wanted them to be the colors of these things. Maybe that does your head in as well, but let me know. In fact, I'll run the intro clips as I change that. See you in 10 seconds. And back in the live scene. I didn't live up to my promise of being able to change the colors before it actually got there. Look at that tip jar overflowing like crazy. That's mental. Of course the tip jar is actually empty. Let me get rid of all of that in there. It's really lovely to have seen subscriber numbers picking up a wee bit over the last wee while, people joining the family. If that's you and you're new here, then welcome to the family. It's really great to have you there. Here, in fact, I should say. What's up with this? Hide that there off the screen. So yeah, how's everybody doing? How are you all? Nice to have you here, Walt Hereta. Nice one. XRP, big time trash. SEC investigations, devs dumping their bags. No thanks. Well, that's an interesting perspective. Of course, I'm not an advocate. I'm not a member of the XRP army. I wonder if XRP Steve, or whatever name that he's got these days, will join us for today's stream. Or not. Yeah, good to see you here, Peter. Good to see you here, K-Doc. Nice to see you, Robert, online. Silver shares up 28% today, says Michael John Scott. Lovely, jubbly. I reckon he wears it for his cat burglary and shaved for anonymity. wait, what's that all about? Rocky's Tash comes and goes like the Bitcoin bull. Yeah. Dark mode, as TS says, save the polar bears. That's right, save the polar bears. Well, okay, I actually would prefer to go back to that as well. I just wanted to have a bit of this because I put XRP in the title, I guess, and I was going to talk about XRP. I wanted to have it up here so we could talk about things in the old white mode, like you're new to crypto, right? And you've just logged on to TradingView for the first time or something like that, having been recommended it, perhaps from the likes of TradingView's channel. Great channel, check it out, and save them polar bears. And you haven't got quite round to following all the tips from his setting up TradingView video quite yet. What shall we talk about with regards to this? I mean, do we care too much about XRP? I mean, are we going to do this for the sake of? I mean, I should make a little clip about it, shouldn't I? I should make a little clip. I'll come back to doing a little clip about that sort of thing later, I reckon. Let's go to the daddy coin and check in on Bitcoin, right? First, I suppose, and stick it back on dark mode, for crying out loud. But if I do make one of those, videos for, that's better. If I do make one of those videos for the XRP army, then I'll stick it back on white mode, shall I? Just for a laugh, just for the meme of it. Insider joke for all outcropticians out there in the world. I'm not so keen on this black 200 period simple moving average. Let's change it back to white again so it's actually visible. One of the mistakes I make when writing that word sometimes, I actually spell it that way. Right, this is not the chart I'm looking for. This is not the chart you're looking for. Yeah, I've probably got a better chart somewhere else with numerous other little levels for us to be aware of, but this does a job for us, does it not? Certainly in terms of showing us this structure of this wedge thing. I suppose the whole world's talking about it by this stage. If not, well then I wonder what's keeping them from talking about it. Are we coming in for a retest of this thing? It's the same discussion we've had the other day. We've just gone sideways since, you know, overall my technical analysis video that I published the other day is exactly the same. I mean, we're talking about the same stuff, right? Same stuff again. Let's just check in with some of that same stuff for us though. Has it changed much? Well, in 24-hour time frame, the concept of the potential hidden bullish divergence, or the hidden bullish divergence on the daily time frame, looking at this low versus our most recent of lows, which of course the most recent of lows in the big broad picture is higher. Blah blah, that's obviously not changed. 4-hour time frame, we're getting the whole volatility doodah coming in with the DMI. Well, that's not a surprise, is it? Of course, either. Seeing the prices going sideways, it's the new stable coin. Like I say, this is what's going to happen with a stable coin over here. Very little volatility. In fact, I wonder what those stable coins do look like with regards to this. BUSD USDT. Yeah, let's look at the DMI on a stable coin. Woo-wee! It's actually got trends. Let's look at the... Well, it's got price movement as well. There's one to trade. There's one to trade. You'll never get liquidated. Well, I mean, you would, right? You would. You would. But that's obviously. I think TradeSpawn was telling me something about this one as well the other day. Well, you could actually trade this off the back of these sorts of things. Oh, the big volatility coming in, bing bong, price happened, whatever we saw it happening. So. But then again, it's a stable coin. You know when the prices are going down to sort of 99 cents that it's a good buy. Then when the prices come up to $1 and higher, that it's a good sell. I guess this is like a palate cleanser, sort of sanitizing thing for us to look at. There's never really going to be a trend in this thing, unless one of them dies, of course, slowly, as opposed to overnight. But yeah. Could we see divergences? What am I doing? Am I just going crazy here at the minute doing this? Maybe I am. I'll head back over to the dollar thing. Carl Moon said XRP is going to 0, so I flip bullish. Nice one. Good stuff. Yeah. Where are some of our other charts? We've still got targets in mind. Yeah, this one here. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, not that one. That one? No, not that one. That one. Ah, that one. Yeah. And the work was done. Excellent stuff here. You know, this is our green light up here at the 35,000 area. This is our support line for us in the medium term. In here around about 32 actually really at the lows, 33 at the highs of that intermediate zone. Depends, of course, if you're trading this on certain particular time frames, you know, that each one of these will apply to you, depending on who you are and what you're trading it like. Then you know, then all eyes on whether or not this is going to go down the way even more. There's another thing that I kind of suppose I ought to talk about, because, well, we do, don't we? We talk about the realities of technical analysis and the realities of charting, which are often overlooked in the enthusiasm of stuff like this and a measured move pointing up towards somewhere in around about that blue line, for instance, or whatever, you know, that type of idea. It clouds your thinking when it comes to whatever it was that I was about to talk about there, which has completely and absolutely slipped my mind. Ah, jeez. I should be dragged out onto the street and shot. Yes, piping on and off sound a bit low, Rocky. Oh, jeepers creepers, what's going on with this? If it's not one thing, then it's another. Right, let's bring this closer to my face. That'll make it a bit better. The little video clips that I make for the other bits better be better quality than what I'm achieving at the minute. I'm getting buffering now too. Oh, jeepers creepers. It's not like I've got a VPN on or anything. I checked all that before starting the stream today. So, ooh. Oh, aye. Yeah, the thing is, I had the cold over the weekend, and my head's all about off the back of having taken paracetamol with codeine in it. Probably something to do with it. You know, I often talk about what happens with a wedge whenever it fails to do the full moves. Have I talked about that before? I think I have on numerous occasions, and we can see that this is, of course, the question that we should really be asking around about now. Why should we be asking that? Well, because we don't want to exhibit or introduce confirmation bias into our trading. Of course, what we're going to do instead is use a more scientific, empirical approach where we actually look to see whether or not we're wrong. And that, of course, finding out quickly, sooner rather than later, is obviously delightful. Seeing pullbacks away from this area could come down and put in a lower low in there at the sort of 27,000 area, and this should be of no shock or surprise to anybody who's trading Bitcoin at the minute, because of the way that we saw this rejection happen on the breakout from the wedge. And of course, as we've seen the diminishing volume, using our moving average here on the volume to give us an idea of whether or not it's actually increasing or not during that whole phase overall. So that's where we find ourselves right now. Of course, what we want is for us to be able to just simply remove that line from the chart and say that we're still on the verge of breaking out from what has simply just been a downward trend, because what we're looking for here is the first step towards making a higher high, and that of course is breaking past the overall kind of downward structure of all the previous lows, and of course our highs, and now of course taking out previous horizontal support and resistance structures along the way, etc., and key areas for us. And as well as this, not a series of Fibonacci retracement points that I used to put in these lines. I can't remember exactly, but there's numerous different confluence factors coming along for us to play here. And on the daily time frame, if we were to ultimately go down and test that 50 yet again, having tested it once thoroughly here, twice maybe, then of course we could be looking at the 50 simple moving average here. It sounded like a connection issue. Just seeing here that there's somebody saying, TradeSpot, telling to me that I maybe should go and have a cup of tea. Nice one. Thanks so much for that. Maybe do I go and make a cup of tea? Let me know in the chat. I'll just sit here in the chat here for a second. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Why the hell not, I wonder? Is there something going wrong here somewhere? Maybe. See if there's any other things open that are connecting to the internet currently. Well, thankfully I do currently make these clips as well as do the live stream, so that's not so bad. I should just maybe make this one more about talking to the audience instead then at times and answering questions, rather than you know, or at least spend some more time looking at the chat to see if it's all connecting well enough overall. I'll stick the kettle on, why not, as well, until I hear back from the chat to see if it's actually working or not right now. Oh dear. So I'll just do that, I suppose. Gosh, things are going really badly today, but I'm happy to be here. You know, having had had the cold and whatnot. I don't like that. Whatever. Back in a second. Hello, is it working at all? I think maybe my internet's completely broken, is it? If my internet is completely broken, I don't know how you're going to let me know, but if you were to let me know, that'd be handy. Oh dear. Did you pay your account? Yeah, I paid my damned account. I mean, stick the kettle on. Shucks, you have a cold, you deserve a wee cup of tea. Yeah, I paid my damned internet bills. It's because, but it could be because I tried to. I use mobile stuff 4G because it's faster. I can't get fiber connection here in my old school property. Although I did see them digging up the street outside recently and asked them what they were doing it for, and they said because of fibre, and I was like, but wait a minute, this is World Heritage Centre with blah 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 blah, but you know, whatever, here we are, we're having it. The wee blip blip was like headphone jack not plugged in type of thing. Oh god. No, Coco escaped. She's absconded. She's gone. Ginger, lemon, honey, and warm water does the trick. Shot of brandy included will knock the flu out. You know, I actually don't think I've got the. I don't know what it was. I don't really know. The other night I went to bed and God, I was freezing cold. I didn't have the heat on and whatever else, and I don't know. I think I just gave myself like a chill. But then again, I've looked at the internet about this, and apparently you don't get sick from being cold. So I was like, you know, I thought I should be fine, but whatever. Seemingly I get sick from being cold. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. Pause your torrent, says Robert Online. That's funny. I actually tried doing just that sort of thing. It seems fine. Oh, if it seems fine, then it seems fine. Excellent. And then I can get into the swing of things and start doing some decent TA for once, shall I? Gosh darn, Rocky. Would you ever do some decent technical analysis? Would you ever? Is it possible? You know what? I just like to tune in once, just once, Rocky, and see something which is of some interest and is decent in some way. Just once, if only. I think that this is quite clear how important this whole zone is when we talk about whether or not this is a retest. As you can see from this Fibonacci drawn in from this point over here, which is the 13th of March, which was of some significance to the price over there as a low of some sort, and up towards this high up here, and we see that the 236 is in there at 33,000, and of course the prices are 34,000 at the minute. We're finding the body closures over the last few days having retained the 236 in general. That's what you want to see, having pulled it back down the way here and, you know, effectively broken past the 236, looking like there'd be a strong chance, you know, at that point of going on down to further lower targets. Some people drive motorbikes that sound like a herd of elephants all farting at the one time, and I don't understand why they do it. I mean, does it not annoy themselves? The acoustics outside, whatever. Tinternet fine, fan, dabby, dozies. Internet event skip every 10 seconds. Not so fine. That's not fine. That's not fine. Coco RONNOFT. Not even after a night on Rose Street. Nah, she's out with the lads. Out with the lads and never coming back. She left a note. She left a note. It just said "Ciao for meow." Great. Right, so yeah, you know, there was a pretty significant chance that we'd come down towards the 27,500 area, given that, you know, we'd broken down past that 236. But of course that still remains the case, you know, and it's quite easy to see because, of course, you know, this is the structure at the minute, or at least certainly since the 6th of January or the 8th of January has been in this downward way, trending down. But we're still asking the question, was 40k a top, you know, as we did on the video on that day back in January. And yeah, if we did break down past the 50 simple, then of course that's on our way towards the 382. Do we think the prices would stop there though? That's the question. Well, no, that's not the question, but that's certainly one of the questions. Here is the zone of a very, yeah, I'll leave it this purple color because that's kind of what I'm using as negative at the minute. Oh, my candlesticks have changed again. God, what's that all about? I have to make them more like their disco colors or something. When they pop that neon, you know, it's my branding. You see, it's my branding. I have to follow through with the branding off the channel. That's also why I'm wearing this this dressing gown here. It's my branding. Haha. So yeah, we've been trending towards the downside, and of course, if we move past this 50 period simple moving average, then things look a little bit sticky. If we go down past the 382, then of course it's a lot worse. But because we're taking out our wick over here, blah 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 blah. We're taking out various zones where you could conceivably look to as support. With each one of these coming in with a number of broken hearts, you know, there'll be certain people at certain areas that look at these at that price and say, well, it ain't going lower than that, and then if it did, then that would be the worst. Now, of course, the area that people would be most concerned about would probably be in here with the with this previous area of support and resistance in terms of inflection, big inflection in the markets. I mean, I know I'm doing this downward side stuff, right, and I'll go on and I'll do the upward side stuff. Don't worry your wee con socks about it. It's all going to be groovy. By the way, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you are joining us, haven't found a video recently, then brilliant, you've made it to a live stream. Sorry that I'm not massively 100% energetic as I normally am. I'm normally like a blaze of wind, a torrent of brilliantness. Yeah, but whatever. And if we were to go down below that area, we're looking towards the 200 simple, and that comes in, of course, at the 618 golden pocket. So you can see that in terms of all the divergence, not divergence, in terms of all of the things that people, textbooks and all that sort of stuff tell you to look towards, it's all kind of lining up there on the big picture. If these negative things were to happen, okay, in terms of where you could see potential turnarounds at, this does a number of things in terms of the CME gaps and all that sort of good stuff along the way. Of course, leaving that tasty one for the end of the at some point it might happen. Okay, at some point in the future it might happen that there's a bear market in crypto, right? It could happen. Okay, let's just be real about things. It is possible for it to happen, and if that were to happen, then you know it'd be nice to see the bottom of that come in at around about where that gap was. Wouldn't that be nice? It would just be nice, that's all. But I wouldn't really particularly mind too much. Excuse me. Mic setup got some wub to it. Just do some heavy drugs like Martini Guy and talk really fast. That'll make viewership moon. I used to get so many comments from folk telling me that I talk too fast in my episodes. Well, I just wanted to get through them, you know. Had to get out there and get sunbathing, working on my tan. You know how it is. I had photo shoots and all that stuff coming up. I needed to keep my complexion luscious. Do we want to change this over to make it so it's a slightly different color, so it like looks more like there's a sort of scale on the go here? We'll do it like orange to purple to green, like that. So this is all going to help when it comes down to doing the wee clip thing. You're getting the sort of the behind the scenes setup for it. We know what we've got on here in terms of all the detail. Fibonacci from the market lows to highs, 236 area, key areas for us in terms of the broad structure about whether or not, you know, going down past the 50 could lead towards movements down towards the 200 simple. Is there any confluence with that? Well, there is confluence with it, because that's where the 618 Fibonacci retracement point would be if we were not to go on higher up. What would change this from being the case over the period of now until infinity in the future, like, you know, it doesn't really matter in terms of until when, is like what would change this scenario? Well, there's only one thing that would change it, and that would be putting in a higher all-time high. That's the only thing that'll change this. Until such times as that, then, well, I suppose there's the other thing that changes it, because I have a green heart over here. The only other thing that changes it is, of course, it crashing on further, right? Fine. Anyway, that's enough of that negative, pardon me, I'm gonna have to get some tissues, haven't I? Negative Nancy stuff, right? Let's bring up another chart here. For murder. Decision time. Yeah, we've still got decision time to make, but this is where we got our highs for. So if we can answer that question of for murder or not, then I don't need that. I just deleted the text. I'm not actually sure if that leaves it as an object on the chart. I think it does. once we've answered this question here, whether by ultimately staying above the 27k area, right? That's going to be, let's just talk about things kind of from a broad structure thing. As you saw, on the Tezos little clip earlier on, I was talking about, and it says, oh, this would be an aggressive entry and stuff like that. I'm not afraid to talk about an aggressive entry on things, or I'm not afraid to talk about extreme movements or whatever. Just trying to broaden out a picture here for the old clipstickle people. For us, the ones that want to join in, the ones that want to join, the ones that don't watch all the videos all the time, the new people that are joining us, changes much of structure completely. That's not good. That's right. So then the upside targets, let's just make it easy on ourselves, shall we? And use the high up until what could ultimately be our low, in terms of looking back the way retroflexively, if we were to not go back, I said retroflexively, looking back the way retroflexively, if we were to stay above this area of 28,595, then we will do okay. Now that's, I don't know, that was my attempt at a retroflexive accent. Didn't do the very best at it, but I'll work on it. Then yeah, cool. So those will be our upside targets. Do we want to get too nitty gritty about things? 45,000, 47,000, 50,000 ways of looking up there other than this. There could be some, whatever, who cares? I mean, sorry, who cares? Everybody cares. Everybody cares. But the point that I'm trying to make is that for market structure to change from or to continue on, or you choose your own semantics about things, for all of that to change, we need to go from where's that thing at for me doing the move? There's like a drawing tool which is better. Projection. I think it might be projection. Let me just try projection. If we go from where we are right now using the current price line up to our most recent high in there, wait a minute, what the hell is this tool? Then you get this cool AF looking, nice gradient looking huge block of brie. That's what you get here. That's a whole big quarter of a full wheel of cheese. So that's what you get. That's not what I wanted. Trading view. Where is it? Is it in the measuring stick thing? Do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about out there. Don't you? Ghost support bars pattern, date and price range. No, it's not what we want. There's another tool which is amaze balls for like giving you the move. Who cares? I suppose I should really just get on with the show. Fixed range, price volume. No, it's like forecast. No, it's not forecast. It's like projection or something. It's called it's not called projection. Whatever. It's a 25% move towards the top side, $8,400 in terms of the absolute dollar value. The further targets that come in thereafter as speculative targets towards where you might find further places where you might be tempted into taking profit should the bull market continue, sort of idea exists then in terms of movements up the way from where we are now, maybe 35% up, maybe 40% up, or maybe 50% up, right? Okay, so do we need to do anything more detailed than that? I don't think so, especially not for a Monday. So I can leave that on the chart just there. And then, of course, we already know it's the same sort of numbers, by the way, towards the downside. Obviously, 17 grand or something like that is about half of 34,000. Don't really need to do the whole sort of thing, do we? I don't think, for that one. So I could go ahead probably and film the quick episode part of this just now. It's kind of more or less. It's time. It is time. Have we got something on the 4-hour time frame? Did I see this? Yes, volatility. It is time. It is time. So what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about the downside targets first or second. Well, we're talking about people who are going to maybe be judgmental about the content if it doesn't have positive stuff first, right? So because you know you have to be, don't you? You have to be. It's the bull market trend towards the top side, right? It has been. I'm not too sure what the world of YouTube responds like whenever I say, oh, you know, because we've been in a downtrend since the 8th of January. I don't know how the world really responds to that. Yeah, they don't respond in terms of huge amounts of thumbs up and comments and all the rest of it, or subscriber numbers. So maybe we'll talk about things in some really positive stance, and it is really positive because I mean there's too many positive things. Do I want to have some intermediate thing where I just talk about how we're way past the 236 and all the rest of it? I don't think so. I think it doesn't do any justice to in terms of talking about retracements, because you know a retracement down the way here from a technical point of view. What's going on here? I've ruined my retracement tool as well. I've already got one in there. From a point of view of a retreat, what this is to say that, you know, it's retracing against the trend. So the trend would be down the way, with the overall presumption that you would be maintaining the downward trend once you've got past certain points, such as, oh, I need to make it all one color and white. Okay, there's my one I just drew in there. Once you go past certain points like the golden pocket, etc., great big retrace there, yada yada. And you can do the same sort of thing over here as well. So like, you know, we came all the way down, blah blah blah, and here we are, and we're really just on the 236 at the minute, and I don't think it really adds a great deal of value to what we're looking at from this sort of time frame anyway. It's 4 hours, so how much deeper down do you think I should really go in terms of that sort of thing? But I could make a case to say that, hey, you know, we're above the 236, etc., etc., try and sort of transition between the positive and the negative, and with that sort of thing on the go. I don't know what we'll do. We'll just see how it goes, right? Somebody needs to respot TradeSpotting's trading view tutorials. That's me. You're looking for the forecast tool behind the long position button. Behind the long position button. Yeah. I was looking in there. Forecast. It's just got that. It's just because the icon on it didn't look anything like it. Yeah, this is the. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, TradeSpotting. By the way, for anybody who doesn't want to suffer like I just did there, watch TradeSpotting's tutorial on how to use TradingView. Yeah. I don't like the colors. Can I change the colors? Oh, I'd have to do too much work. So we'll not. I don't know if the font's big enough to read though. Is that big enough for the folks at home to read that are watching the streams? Visibility? No. No. You can't change the font size. You can do the whole zoomy. I've zoomed in so much. But does that work well? Kind of. Not really. It's kind of terrible. I like it though in a terrible sort of a way. I want to put in one towards the downside then as well for introducing this, if we're going to be so zoomed in about things. Whee! Down the way. Looking down towards the 17s or something like that. Something like that, 17-ish sort of area. There we go. Aha. Right. So let's try it. Does your bike sound like an elephant farting, K-Doc? No, a herd of elephants. I need to blow my nose. I'm not going to be able to do it. I need to blow my nose. I'll be back in 2 seconds, right? Okay, so I suppose as well, to make this accessible, we'll have to choose a couple of somewhat intermediate numbers to say are kind of like a fake out zone that we need to get past in order to go on to the next level, so that the moves can be understood a bit better. 35 and it was at 28. Yeah, 28. Okay, let's go and give this a shot then, see if I can get a video out before my nose gets too blocked up again. Hi friends, Bitcoin's got a really big decision to make. Is it going to go up 25% towards that 50,000 price target, or is it actually going to drop down by near enough 50% towards that 17,000 price target? There are moves as big as this on the table for our favorite cryptocurrency. Let's take a look at the charts together. I really like this intro, by the way. Good laugh. Hit like and subscribe. Yeah, cool. And here we are in the charts. We've got this big decision to make. We can see the big numbers up there and the big numbers down there. And I'm just going to zoom back out so it's normal, sort of normal level of zoom, so I can actually see what I'm looking at here and say, well, there's a number of really positive things in the near future for us with regards to Bitcoin, and a number of real negative things if you don't like shorting, I suppose. And we're going to have to look to two key areas before you would really want to jump on a bandwagon. Is the price of Bitcoin able to take out $35,000 or so towards the top side, in it around about this area, you know, in terms of actually opening and closing decent time frame candles up above it? Or is it going to be able to take out 28 to 27,000 area down here on a decent time frame basis as well, in which case, you know, you might be looking at these next moves being initiated. In the meantime, what we're doing is seeing a bit of the old sideways price action with Bitcoin. Let me bring up the DMI, that's the RSI. Let me bring up the DMI indicator here and show you that in the background of this thing we see this white box, and of course the ADX line itself being at really low levels. When the things get like this, it is in anticipation of a really big move. Let's have a quick look back the way and see when in the past the ADX has been like this on the 4-hour time frame. And scrolling out, we can see that there was one like this in it around about the 8th of December. And scrolling back the way, it's not every day of the week that it's like this. Then before then, you're talking 9th of June 2020. So let's just have a quick look at the price action in around about those dates and see what happened. Oh, there was a big move in the prices then. That was, of course, a 10% drop, well, an increase. Actually, that's not that big a deal, is it? Didn't really trend that much. We might have to edit that section out because it wasn't super exciting, but something did happen, yada yada. We're in a phase of overall whatever, right? Then over here, what happened as well? Yeah, it didn't actually move by, like, you know, shocking amounts. We are still talking about significant percentages here. In terms of high to low, you're talking like 10% moves. Well, actually, how does that tie in with what we're talking about? What's the current price of Bitcoin? That's probably something that I should know if I'm doing a Bitcoin video, 33,800. Actually, yeah, there you go. So that volatility that coming in that would push us up about 10% would be just enough to push us past those areas. Well, that's funny. Going to have to start this one again, I think, just to make this work. Hey, Navanethan, you hit the like button, did you? Yeah, that makes you a superstar. Thanks so much for that, by the way. Really do appreciate it. Let's just run this episode again, shall we? Or shall I? Or shall I just edit it? No, it'll make it easier to just do it again, I suppose. I don't think anybody's going to suffer too much by me doing it again. I just, the edits wouldn't work, would they? Right, something like that. I was supposed to talk about the positive stuff first, wasn't I? And then I was going to go on to talk about the negative stuff. Where did I do the negative stuff? This was the negative stuff chart. This was the positive stuff chart right here, wasn't it? Was it? No, that's the negative stuff chart. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, first time on the job. Angry camel, angry camper. Angry camel. What is with camels always being so angry? Shall I try and do it in a different sort of voice as well? My voice is a bit rough, I think, today, so maybe I could do it in a different style. I think it's probably best to do it in that excited, that martini type guy voice. Angry camper, nice to have you here, by the way. Cheers from Spain. Que dice by. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Yeah, good to have you here. Bienvenido. A todos de mis amigos españoles, of course. What should I do? What should I have a voice to do? Sometimes when I speak Spanish, I like to speak Spanish in a proper Scottish accent. Yo estoy Rocky Outcrop. Yo vivo en Edimburgo. That's kind of like my accent as it is anyway, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, right. Of course, just that you're from saying hello from Spain doesn't mean you're actually from Spain. Let's give this episode another run, shall we, in terms of this whole clip for the old YouTubes. By the way, thanks to everybody for joining me and hitting like and subscribe. I should probably say that at the start of these episodes as well. The Egyptians will trade anything, will they? Wow, even sand? Do they trade sand? Or is it like, we don't know. Is sand like Dogecoin to them? I wonder. So, I'd have to go and check it out. The pictures I've seen make it seem like it's pretty ubiquitous. Hi friends, my name's Rocky Outcrop. This is Bitcoin Technical Analysis, and we're making a big decision at the minute. We've got to really... what the fuck? Big decision. Sorry. Scrap that. Also hit the button so I've got a thing to remind me when I come to edit this. Right, there we go. Hi friends, is Bitcoin going to jump up 25% towards our $50,000 target, or could it actually drop down towards 17,000? Well, the decision is really truly upon us. We only really need to move about 10% to get to a place where you could maybe say that there's a confirmation of that move in the cards for us. Let's break that down and make it clear as day for you. Thanks very much for joining me. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's take a look at the charts. Wow, fantastic music, Rocky, fantastic stuff. We all love that music, of course, don't we? Very much. I do, anyway. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and this is what we're looking at here. I should really point in that direction, actually, even though my computer screens are over here. And what we're looking at is whether or not we'll be able to go in for this big old measure move, go up towards the 50,000s, etc., and actually, you know, have a really nice 25% move up towards our previous all-time highs beforehand, where you could start potentially taking profits if you didn't want to be super greedy bull, if that's the way you were thinking about things. And of course, we're looking down towards a big move down as far as, of course, this $17,000 area. Maybe that's not quite so fair. Maybe I should have dragged this up the way and made it 40, 50, 50. Oh, fuck, I probably should have. Can we be bothered making it again? I can, but I can't be bothered running the intro. Oh, do we want to run the intros again? I don't think that's wise. People will tune out. Tune out enough as it is anyway. Right. Hi friends, let's take a look at Bitcoin together. It is on the cusp of making a move, potentially up or down 50%. This is the time when things are quiet before the storm, you know, before everything kicks off and gets incredibly crazy. Why am I saying that? Well, if I just look down at the DMI here, I've got my white box behind me showing me that there's a bit of volatility on the go, and that could put a 10% move on the cards for us. A 10% move, well, that might not be, you know, the biggest move in crypto that you've heard of lately. Certainly takes us past a couple of key areas, which could be the thing which initiates a move towards the downside, perhaps, such as over here. Why is that not lining up properly? That's fine, actually. Such as over here, where we have these three key areas. This exclamation mark warning sign coming in there at the 29,000, 30,000 area. That is, of course, where our previous low was, and on the 24-hour time frame, that's also where the 50 simple period moving average is lining up with at the minute. If we break that 50 simple period moving average, then we could be looking down towards this electric 50% line here. This is where our last real significant area of support was, and that comes in at around about 23,000. And of course, then the classic 618 golden pocket zone comes in here at where that green heart would be, that 200 simple moving average, and that would be a fantastic buy if there was one. And that brings us down towards the 17,000, and that would be the full 50% move. And that's off the back of what Fibonacci retracement are you talking about here, Rocky? Well, that's from the lows over there on the 13th of March up towards the highs that we had here on the 8th of January. And if we zoom back into the price action, we can see where the 236 comes in at here, lines up perfectly with where we've had the last few body closes and, you know, clear areas of support and resistance. Now, that 10% move past this area, of course, takes us out, is taking out that 30,000, and it initiates those other targets that we already spoke about. Then, of course, if we look towards the upside, and now, of course, the upside is what we all want to see happen with this one, then a 10% move can take us up past, you know, a couple of structural areas and put us in for a $35,000 target. 35,000 then needs to be taken out properly in a 4-hour sort of business. You still got an opportunity to get in, etc. at that point, because it isn't really until you've taken out 39,000 that you've really broken the previous wick of this high. But of course, you know, that's on the cards. I'd look for that area to be a potential risk management zone, of course, for us. And then looking up towards the top end there in 41,779, 42,000 would be, you know, your next next profit taking zone. That's 25% up from where we are right now, so it's no bad thing to take profits at that area. But then the next three areas that really come into play for us, really that we really should be looking to, are the Fibonacci extensions past the move, you know, from the Fibonacci drawn in from the high of the 8th of January down to the low here of the 21st of January. Looking up towards these extensions, the 1618 in there at 50,000. It's a big one for us, and the three other little numbers in between, 47,500, 45,500 as well. It certainly is decision time for Bitcoin. Will it be able to make the decision? Well, we will find out fairly soon, and I think the volatility is going to come back within the next day or two for us, and that's pretty cool. At the minute, we're structurally, what we're looking at is the overall retest of a wedge, which does have a measured move target taking us up towards the sort of 48,000 area, 47,000, whatever, one in amongst these, 47,000 area, in amongst these targets that we've got from the Fibonacci extension as well. And of course, we already know about the support zones for us below us. That's going to do. Look, come and check out one of the live videos one time. I'll really appreciate seeing you there. Right. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I didn't do the intro that time. Whatever. I'll have to cut out the intro somehow. I'll have to make it work somehow. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I'll just film other episodes after. Whatever. I'm just here to help. I think we've talked Bitcoin to death. There isn't really anything else to be talked about with regards to it. If somebody wants me to take a look at another idea, I'd be more than happy to do so. Really, I really would. Like, absolutely would. We've had this all sort of road mapped out pretty well, I think, so far. Maybe I'm being kind of arrogant in my memories of things overall. There was something else I kind of wanted to take a look at with regards to, it's not the 1 minute chart, with regards to some other moving average things on some altcoins, I think, at the minute, which I might want to take a look at. It's not really that much of a surprise to see all the different time frames having the 50 and the 200 in terms of these low term time frames coming together, coalescing in and around about these things. You know, the 1 minute obviously, but the, you know, all the way up here we're seeing that we're all really close together. That's because of this sideways price action, because of the stability, so to speak. Now that's good to have seen, of course, you know, getting a degree of consolidation at an area which could lead to a move, but it could go in either direction currently. I'm not going to really put a bias on this one. I don't think there's much point on it in it when you're talking about easy enough to manage risk. Either way you can choose it. Now of course there's a danger that it kind of just washes you out trading and knocking out stops either side or something like that. Depends on what sort of risk management that you're using yourself. So whatever, these things can happen. Sorry, that's not very nice of you, Rocky. But yeah, you just have to accept it. That's the sort of the cost of doing business, isn't it? Then we've got the ADX showing us here in terms of the 12-hour time frame that it's gone right into chop territory, having lost all of that enthusiasm as you'd expect. In terms of the 24-hour time frame, right in there at chop. Now we do have, of course, you know, the potential for this to have been a signal for us right in here where we were getting this cross. It was the potential for a signal for us, but of course that was very short-lived thereafter. The cross happened during this whole spike, so whatever. 2-day time frame. We're talking about trend here essentially. Do I want to go on and talk about the other coins? Does anybody want me to look at a particular coin in particular? Actually, I would just do that instead. At Adam Edits. Adam Edits. Oh, you're here, Adam. By the way, great video. Here, everybody. I'll just go check out your channel, Adam Edits. By the way, made a good video earlier on. I want to give the guy a shout out, so let's just do that. YouTube.com. Let me bring up the old YouTubery. Adam Edits. He's only got 2.2 thousand subscribers. Just wait and see as he explodes to 20k in the next 10 minutes. Anyway, he did a video here I thought had a lot of the Dogecoin memes in it of late. I thought it was worth a shout out to people if you like a bit of the old meme chat. And of course, well, there you are. There you have it. And good stuff. Well done. Shout out to somebody. I'm always happy to support other YouTubers out there and give somebody a shout out who, you know, is putting their hard work into informing and educating people and entertaining people as well, as we have here. My message to Jake Paul. You can see all the memes. Oh yeah, Rocky be making predictions within 48 hours, you know he's on medication. Yeah, that's probably true. Probably shouldn't be showing your video as well, just in case there's any sort of copyright issues or any of that sort of stuff. It was funny, I appreciated it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Good to have you here, friend. If you hit that subscribe button, then of course, you know, you've tuned into the best place for technical analysis. Do you care about technical analysis? That's a good question, actually, because I know that you know about crypto and the memes behind it and everything else. Do you trade crypto and do you care about technical analysis? I certainly do. I'm a believer. I really am. The thing is that we've seen over the course that it works, essentially. So it's good, but whatever. It's pretty epic on the volatility. Yeah, it always tells you. I mean, it's telling you that it's going to happen soon. There's going to be that move. You could easily get washed out. It could happen. I've explained it all. I've talked about it all. I didn't mean to be dismissive of anybody who experiences a stop loss, or indeed, you know, or to be disencouraging to people who just want to sort of, you know, stick their money on the line right now and hope for the best or whatever. You know, the volatility there could also see the prices coming right back to where they are now and not actually going past. That's what I talk about is terms of like moving that 10% and then confirming. Then maybe you've got something to talk about. If it just goes up there and back down again, we're sat here talking about the same thing in a couple of days' time. Well, then, you know, don't say I didn't warn you. Whatevs. Yeah. Robert Online, you've been trading silver, is that what you're saying there? You want to look at silver? Oh, aye. Oh, silver. Well, SLV. Silv. Do you care about any particular silver that you want to look at? Is it all the same to you? Same stuff at the end of the day? Bit of volatility here, as you can see. Now there's obviously slight differences. I have my indicators set up, not the no sure thing effort, which anyway, not the no sure thing effort, but these other guys have got them set up for crypto, so they're slightly different in terms of their oversold, overbought territory stuff, etc. For instance, here in terms of the bullish control zone, in terms of what people would maybe normally talk about it, if they're going to have it set up like this, I can't remember what you call her, O'Connell, something. Some people back in the 80s or whatever started doing this here technique where you have these different bands, blah blah blah. It's back in the day stuff. You've probably seen it in other places, like for instance, if you watch Eric Crown, whatever. There's plenty of places that do this. You can get access to my particular one. I've got mine offset by up a bit. So in terms of normal, whatever would be in here, we'd be in at the bullish control zone. So, you know, again, maybe this is a decent place to have it. I don't know. It's certainly okay there in terms of that top. But then again, this one here probably, yeah, that just poked right outside the overbought zone. This here's been rejected from the thing. Yeah, it probably works better in terms of the traditional market having that displaced or placed properly, as opposed to where I have it. Worth the reminder. And indeed the same sort of thing then exists in terms of like the volatility. I kind of have mine extremed out a little bit. So anyway, you can see here in terms of silver that we've got a good degree of this sort of sideways action in the past, which is then ultimately not led to much. I mean, when I talk about how the prices could go up and then come right back to where they were before, you know, drop down, back up here, right back to where they were before, in terms of silver, in terms of this volatility effort. Here ultimately they did get back up again, but then they had another period of volatility between. So then, you know, so you had the volatility. Will the prices come back to this area? Well, they will. And then will they come back to this area where we had this volatility thing coming at? Yeah, they did. Then will they come back to this area again whenever that volatility ended? Well, you know, they didn't. And it broke, you know, and that's what I'm kind of talking about in terms of like the 10%. It's always good to have these examples, right? I didn't plan this one in advance. It's always good to have these examples to show you what I'm talking about, because sometimes it becomes a little bit sort of like a, let's just rely on Rocky, he knows what he's talking about sort of thing. And instead I want to show you what you can do to sort of, you know, think about things. Anyway, whatever. So silver. Hi ho, silver. Okay. Well, this is a clear potential for a cup with handle. Just first off, I mean, we have obviously penetrated this previous wick high in terms of the actual ultimate highs, but as you can see, the prices have retraced back down so far, back down to equal of this red candle over here, but just ever so slightly shy of the previous high. So in terms of our close, etc., we've not had that quite yet for us. And that means that we've got a twin peak over here of one shape or another, one description or another. This is the 3-day time frame that I'm on, by the way. Didn't mean to be on this one, but this is where I am. The 24-hour time frame, then the 2-day time frame, oof, the 24-hour time frame, even this one showing us we've got that potential for us. We could have made that debate here as well. So you've got that cup with handle between cup with handle, but this one here sucks because the lip on the left isn't actually higher than the highs of the previous sort of 7 weeks it would be if you were looking at it. So sort of week, really. They aren't higher. This isn't higher than the highs of the previous couple of weeks. So it's not worked out for us, that one. But it actually did in terms of going down 50%, etc., coming back up the way and then getting a bit of a breakaway. We've got a gap on the go over here. Maybe that's worth considering. That's on the 24-hour time frame. Could draw this in. Suppose we could revisit it in the future and see if it ever did get filled in. Do I want to have I suppose I'll do a horizontal line just there. So there's that. That would offer up a decent rebuy for anybody interested in it. So obviously, like, right, okay. So first off, we've put in higher highs, but we've done it with a red candle, which has been a breakaway. You know, looking here at the 1 hour time frame, you can see that between the close of trading on Friday and the open of trading here, the 1st of February, we got that gap on the go. If you want me to look at a different chart, by the way, rather than SLV, let me know in the thingy what your preferred ticker would be, by the way, just if you ever want. Did you ever share the link to your uploaded DMI? No, I didn't, by the way. It's on Gumroad. If you go Gumroad, somebody can check this out here. Gumroad.com/rocky.outcrop. I haven't actually set it up properly yet, actually, because I was meant to include a README file. I was supposed to include a README file telling you how to install it and maybe link to a video and blah, 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 blah. But they're there and they're available for people to download them in text files, and I made sure I put in the working ones. The Discord has had broken ones inside it for a while. If anybody wants it, you can check it out. Right, cool, yeah. So anyway, we've got this gap over here. It's something to be thinking about in terms of what could happen. So we talked about gaps the other day, and what it boils down to is how the price action responds whenever it reaches a gap again, and we can see that again here with the key area being, you know, where the start of this gap is. If we don't find support at $26, then the chances of us going down to an extra $1 down to 25 fairly real, you know, or whatever. But the 24-hour time frame as well, that's showing that up. So it's not just a small term thing. Plenty of gaps on the silver chart in general. So it's not like it's mandatory to fill them in. Certainly not immediately. But if we were to look to do any of that, there's a big gap that would draw your eye, I suppose, down here at $12. If you're looking at gaps on silver getting filled in again, they do happen. It is a thing, but it's not the same. But should really fill this in here as well. That's going to be like the equivalent, I guess, of our 9,800 or whatever it is dollar gap on Bitcoin, I suppose, would be like the ultimate ends of things in the future. I'll just leave that there for future reference for myself if I want to come back to look at it. Anyway, yeah, 24-hour time frame. That was a 3-day time frame I started off looking at, where I said, was it the 3-day time frame I started off looking at? Yeah, it was, where I said that we've got this potential for a sort of cup with handle. So this would be your cup area, and then you'd be looking at a handle. So that's not super difficult to imagine where your levels are anyway, but that's just a narrative to put on top of what if I were to draw in a Fibonacci from you'll have noticed when I do this in the past, I've said, oh, you could have a cup with handle. I know that the cup with handle is going to be drawn in a measured move from the low of the basin to the lip, and whatever 50% down is where the sort of the handle is going to be roughly. So it makes sense to use a Fibonacci and talk about it there. The difficulty here with this one is that, where do I need to send this black turtleneck I got for you? If anybody actually wanted to send me something, then you get in touch with me on the Discord or whatever. Navanethan's done that. I'm looking forward to Navanethan's delivery coming, and then I can start shilling his NFT wear for him. I think the guy's a great guy and deserves to have shout outs like that on the show, and I'll be looking forward to wearing them from time to time on here, but I'll be wearing them more often when I go in and out the front door of the house and into the cold Scottish weather. So there's a problem here when you're talking about whether or not you'd be doing your Fibonacci and from the lows to the highs in terms of going wick to wick, right? Because what you see is that over here on this wick up towards this wick, that you're discounting the nature of the cup with handle sort of idea, and instead what you could be doing is drawing in a Fibonacci from your body low to your body high, in which case you'd find the 50% area comes in there at $23.88, and if you draw in from wick to wick, you find that the 50% comes in here at 24.24. So, but somewhere perhaps between 23.80 and 24.30, you might find some area where the prices retrace to, giving you a great entry if this were to be the case. Okay, so what would be your first sort of protocol to know that it would be the case? We'll be going past the 236. Is there any confluence there on this one? Well, there just so happens to be. You know, you'd be talking about coming in here and filling in that gap. The question then becomes, how does the price action when it respond whenever it fills in a gap? And of course, if we find support here at 25.55, then the prices could then of course continue to go towards the top side thereafter. It depends if they want to continue trending or not. However, that wouldn't comply with the cup with handle ideology. It would comply with having filled in a gap and then potentially moving towards the top side. Now that's just a gap that happens to be on the 24-hour time frame. But there's plenty of other gaps, like I say, in the world of silver. It doesn't mean that we need to go filling them in. And of course, then if we, it doesn't mean we need to. And also, the significance of filling it in isn't so much that you would necessarily need to find LBRY as a bounce area for us. We could, of course, see that happening at 25, lower than 25.55. You know, you're talking down towards 25 itself if you did come in and fill that in without being too shocked and awed about any sort of gappery nonsense there on that one. Unlike some other charts where maybe perhaps you might look to it being more on the nose. I don't want to be wrong in what I'm saying there with regards to that necessarily, but let me just see in terms of this SLV chart anyhow that, yeah, I mean, we often, yeah, we it's fine, we expect that's fine, that's accurate enough to say that's fine. So then moving down the way, then the 618 lines up nicely. This is 24-hour time frame with the 50 simple moving average, and of course then that would be if you push past that 24.24, 23.85, whatever area, and that goes down to sort of 23 buck zone. So it depends on what sort of tolerance you're taking or what sort of risk you wanted to have. And why is that any of that important? Well, if that's important, if we then retrace from this point and go down past that area, taking out this last clear area of support, and there's no point in staying in longs past that, hoping for a turnaround. You know, if you're looking down from between 23 down to 22 and then down to say 20, where you have or any area afterwards, you know, you're just talking about significant percentage changes in the price of this thing. You know, 5, 8, 10%, whatever. It depends on how you're managing it. If you're getting it into at any point, you know, higher up, because at that stage you're talking about how you've already kind of lost 20% or something, and you're looking at losing another 10 at that point. That becomes your question of whether or not it's worth it. Now, if you were to wait until you were to see the prices coming down to this area and then trade it, what would be a good idea to do? Well, maybe perhaps then wait for some sort of confirmation towards the top side thereafter. Certainly taking out the 50 simple again, something like that would probably be a wise idea. If you were to come down to the 618, of course you might be trying to sort of manage yourself fairly tightly in and around about the 50% area. There's no point in me talking so much time about the gap that's up there on the daily, unless I mention this gap that's over here in the 23.74 area that lines up with that 50 simple moving average, you know, so that would push you past that 50% zone, and that makes a lot more sense when you think about it from a sort of more body to body perspective on the 3-day time frame for that. Of course, that was the 3-day time frame. I'm drawing it out in a longer, more inclined to look at it on a slightly longer basis as well, because we're talking about a highly traded commodity that's been around for hundreds of years, rather than a crypto asset which can move because somebody decided that they'd post a meme about it on Reddit or something like that. You know, slightly different conditions we're talking here. So, in terms of oscillators, what are we looking at? Well, this would be bearish divergence if you know, this, well, would it be, that's your impulse up there, really looking at it? Yeah, well, we had bearish divergence, actually. Did we? Yes, and then we pulled back, so fair enough, but that was no big deal. The first impulse up, past that. Yeah, so in terms of looking at this one, I would say that while it isn't like, you know, necessarily textbook as yet, whatever, necessarily that this is bearishly divergent, and if we were to come down and fill in these gaps and go past the 236, etc., it wouldn't be very long until you'd say that was kind of confirmed as a local high, and then of course you got that bearish divergence high, and then that takes you into these other targets. So there's all of that for you. This is all the risk in terms of what we would see if we don't see continuation towards the top side. It's worth pointing out at this stage that we've come up so high so far already, and that it wouldn't really take much of a retracement even back necessarily up into this, or more continuation. It probably would take more than a retracement back up into this candle, but a bit of continuation perhaps, or another, or recovery after this point towards the top side to simply burn that off. You know, it really needs to become a low. So again, eyes on the gap in terms of if this becomes a local high or not. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and it can just simply burn off, and that would be that. And what kind of gives you the right to say that? Well, we can see that that divergence isn't on the DMI there. In terms of the RSI, it is, you know, potentially, right? It is potentially, but as we can see coming up here, and it doesn't take a massive amount to go up the way. It would be worth noting that the first impulse up the way was indeed divergent in and of itself. We didn't have quite enough in there to get away from things. It would probably been better to have done this during market rather than pre-market, or else, you know, whatever. RSR, another, though no fault of my own type coin for me currently. Oh yeah, let's take a look at RSR for a wee while. Cardano on Valentine's Day, anybody? Says trade spotting. There you go. Cool. I'm on the link, hold to, waiting, says Marcin. If XRP was a rocket to the moon, it would be called Challenger, says KDoc. Ooh, too soon? Is it too soon for Challenger jokes? Is it too soon? Too soon, KDoc. Too soon. Give it another 50 years. Lol, please no shill. The site is still down. What are we talking about here? Some shilling on the go. Has there been some shilling? Oh, I hope there's been some shilling. It's called roll neck sweater, as the phrase like Kojak in Rock and No Sweater. Yeah, man. Black polo neck, man. It's a gag. I got you. I'm reading you loud and clear. The Steve Jobs style. XRP to the moon and back. Yes. I would fly to the moon and back just to hold my ripple. Do you remember that song from the 90s? Who knew it would be such a strong premonition of what was to happen? And what a weird song it was anyway. Like talking about holding ripple, a solid 15 years before cryptocurrency was even conceived. But there you have it. I've been making a video about how RSR is good and why other people are explaining it all wrong, and it's turned into a video called World War Bitcoin. Sorry for translating that if you were trying to keep it as secret in terms of just putting up the abbreviation there. Let's take a quick look at RSR, shall we? I'll get around to doing the stuff that is the sort of the bread and butter later. And by the way, unless anybody wants me to, is anybody really wanting me to take a look at something? I mean, Marcin, when you said I'm on the link hold to waiting, it's not that you're actually waiting for me to do the TA on there, is it? Because if that's what you meant, then I would take a look immediately, but that's not what you meant. Where have I got it? I've got it in this list of the coins, essentially the coins that Binance offers on its futures exchange. Oh yeah. So anyway, we've discussed the key concepts here with regards to this on Bitcoin already, so I don't really need to explain it to anybody who's been watching along so far, or at least, you know, watched along with several videos. I mean, okay, fuck it, sorry, let's explain it. Let's do it real quick though, in terms of for everybody who's make it into one of these clip things, right? One of these clip things. By the way, thanks to everybody, all 20 people who are watching live as well. That's what my stats say. There could be more, and if you want to hit that like button, way brilliant, super appreciate it. Hi friends, I'm Rocky Outcrop. Hit that like and subscribe button and come back again for more technical analysis, because what we do... what? That's like I'm saying cheerio. No. Hi friends, I'm Rocky Outcrop. This is RSR Technical Analysis. Hit that like and subscribe and be sure to come back for more technical analysis live with me, your friend Rocky Outcrop, and a fantastic community of traders. I'm on the intros again just for fun. I'm filming this during a live video, by the way, for everybody watching it on the static one on YouTube, and jumping back into the live scene. What we have here is the RSR 24-hour chart, and I've drawn out the kind of what's going on for us currently. Had this wedge going towards the downside. We did poke our heads outside of the top end of it, coming in popping over the parapet, if you like, but we've come back down and retested it since and then moved towards the top side. We've got 3 clear liquidity zones for us that we really need to be breaking past in order to continue what has been an otherwise upward trend, of course. And that starts off here with where we're trying to push past right now at the time of filming, in there at 0.035 ish area. Now that's quite good. I mean, we've seen the price of RSR jump up from 0.03243 today up to highs of 0.035, so there's been some good trading just to get to where we are now in terms of this move. It's been 10%, so you know, as you can imagine, that moves towards the top side then would be very big thereafter. We're talking about 30% move, or indeed a 50% move, just to come back in and touch off of our previous highs. Now this wedge here that we have doesn't actually facilitate a move if we get the full measured move off the back of this wedge, as you can kind of see here, more or less drawn in here for us. If we were to get the full measured move off the back of it, it doesn't necessarily break this just in and of itself in terms of the pattern. What we need to see happen thereafter is 49 and 50, or 0.049, 0.05 be taken out for the prices to really start to fly. After that, there are some targets towards the top side. Now, all of this offers up fantastic trading opportunities for anybody who wants to get involved, you know, in terms of where the potential upside could end. Bear in mind that very first off, you need to be taking out the 236 this Fibonacci retracement. I've drawn this in from the highs over there on the 18th of January down to the lows there on the 22nd of January, and we're looking up and saying that the measure move takes us up for a 100% retracement, doesn't quite break it. If we do break it and go on beyond it, then the next target comes in at 0.054, call it 55, sure, for the crack. And then the 1618 comes in there at 0.006. So, you know, there's another 100%. Well, there's a lot of percent. If we're talking about moving up towards just the 618 on this Fibonacci retracement, you're talking about 22.5%. Going up for the full retrace is that 40 odd percent or so. You're talking about a move of perhaps 73% towards the top side. Plenty of good trading to be had if any of that actually happens. Now, there is a big concern for us, point of concern, that if we were to actually break down back into this wedge again, then it could be quite bad news, and we could in fact be looking at the same sort of measured move towards the downside. Now, don't panic too much as I point out that this comes all the way down to 0.01, but do be aware that that would give us one of these classic BART style formations, and it could be a decent enough area. There's going to be some bottom and somewhere around about these points, I suppose, perhaps. If not, then you're looking at very much down the way. I wouldn't want, I could be tempted to take a short into this one, but I wouldn't rush to buy or sell it necessarily at that point there, unless I was doing the analysis in the run up to. I'm probably going to edit that little section that I just said there about the negative stuff out of that when I publish it as a separate video, by the way. Hit like and subscribe, that's always a good idea. So yes, if RSR price can take out the 236 in here at 35.5, call it 36 just for argument's sake, then we could be looking up towards 25% increases in prices up towards the sort of 42 area, 0.042. The next big target, 0.049. All of these are totally conceivable in terms of textbook TA with a move outside of a wedge that would take you up to that area. But if we actually do bust past that, then the extensions take us up towards 55 or 0.054 and then 0.06. And of course, these are huge targets up the way, ultimately 73% higher than where the prices are currently. We have just retested this wedge. If we break that down below it, then that is of course bad news. Could initiate a move down towards the 0.01 something, and of course our last significant area of support. But let's not get too carried away with that, and we'll encounter those bridges when we burn them. Okay. Cool. K-Doc, thanks so much for tuning in. It's been good to see you. See you later, pal. You don't have to do RSR, Rocky. I prefer the Mysterion. I'm sorry I spoiled that for you. Things could be quite good for this one. They could also turn really crappy. Okay? Whoa. It's totally not known at all. In fact, ignore all of that. Whew, ignore all of that. Let's just say, so long as we stay above the 50 simple period moving average, we're doing well. Okay? How about that? Right, nice one. So yeah, I suppose it's about time I got on doing the stuff that I'm supposed to do. That Bitcoin episode I made earlier on, I feel is kind of crap, but I don't know. I can't tell. I'm not a good judge. Where's all my drawings? Oh, I hid them. They're back again. I'm sure we could get all of this done in the next 15 minutes for sure. Let's just do it. Let's fly through it. Oh, RSR to 1k by February 2025. Interesting. Nice one. Okay, everybody, let's just do technical analysis for Ethereum, Chainlink, and Tezos right here. And I'll not put you through running the intro credits every single time, although I am tempted to, because it would maybe make the little clips better. I don't know. Whoa. What do you think, chat out there? Would it be really off-putting for me to run the intro credits each time I do one of these things? You should ban yourself for that. Yeah, you should, Tracepawn. That was awful. No, not the TA. Just on price. All right. Right. Okay, whatever. Let's just do this. Okay. Hi friends, I'm Rocky.outcrop. This is Ethereum technical analysis. There's plenty of good trading to be had with this one. Right now, the next move that we're looking to in terms of Ethereum is for the prices to join us up here at the 100. Join us up here at 100. What are you talking about, Rocky? What are you talking about? Let's take that over. Let's start that again. Hi friends, Rocky. Oh, we have to hit the thingy. You like the credits? Yeah, I'll run the credits this time. Hi friends, Ethereum about to make a move up towards $1,456 and challenge our all-time highs yet again. It's on the cards. It's totally possible. It may well happen in the next handful of hours. How exciting is that? You should be excited. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and let's take a look at the charts together. Thanks so much for joining me. My name, of course, is Rocky.outcrop. As you can see, scrolling onto your screen right now. How fantastic is that? Wonderful stuff. Back into the live scene over here and taking a look at the charts, you can see that we have found support at the lower end of our wedge. We are continuing to put in higher highs and higher lows, although I should maybe be a little bit more prudent when I say higher highs, because this area wasn't quite that higher high quite yet. It does seem to be that we put in a higher low so far. We're in a wedge. We're doing a degree of consolidation in an upward format, and we're going to break out from this sooner or later. But I tell you what, the move up from where we are to the upper end of this wedge alone comes in at a solid 10%, and it's not bad trading to be had here in a relatively lower risk format. If we do move down past this area though, then there's a couple of notes of concern for us, one of which being that this is past the 618 Fibonacci area. You might not be able to see that so well on the screen. Maybe I should make that more visible. This episode, tell you what, I'll do better next. I'll do better next time. I'll do better. That's why you should subscribe. Do better next time. Always. Maybe you can read that bit better. I don't know. Yeah, we're moving past the 618, and of course this would be like, you know, the natural fulfillment of the retracement versus where we've just been up to. So, you know, we could be then looking back down again at all of our previous lower targets, etc., breaking out past the wedge and using this measuring stick to see where that could take us to. Well, of course, you know, if we do break outside of the wedge, we could be coming all the way back down as low as our previous low in there at $1,000. A few key areas for us towards the downside to really look out for, and we know them already. The $1,000 one is the most important in terms of the longer term, and if we find support then thereafter, you're talking about $900 or $750. Those would be realistic and actually achievable targets. So let's try and hopefully see the prices stay above $1,000, and if we move outside of this and we're looking at this in terms of fake out territory, the clear fake out territories on this one are 1,200 or so. Then if we move towards the top side, of course, we know we might find a rejection at our previous high at 1450 ish area before perhaps going on the way. If we do though, that could take you up towards, say, roughly the 1618 in there at $1,700. Cool, nice target towards the top side. Could be a little bit greedy. We know about that already, and it might be wise to consider what the effect of the price might be in around about 1,600. And in fact, this area of 1,700 could even be superseded up to 1,800. Let's be honest. Although let's say that if you're going to be speculative about things, 1,700 as in between those price points, there's various reasons for them covered in previous episodes. You can check them in the history if you like, on the channel. Then yeah, well, that's cool. That's what we're looking to. In terms of the oscillators, good. Well, sideways. Not turned bad yet. Whatever. In terms of the oscillators, they're looking okay. This hasn't turned into a negative picture as yet. However, the strength of the positive trend is somewhat diminishing. In terms of the RSI, again, we have divergences along the way with these highs. A lot of things which could give you the clue that perhaps we could break down from having previously broken our highs. But then again, this is all happening at a point where we were just at our all-time high. So, there's a degree of that to be expected. We'll have to see if we actually do go past the key horizontal support and resistance areas before we really try to double down on any trades from there. In terms of stochastics, you can see that divergence exists there nicely as well for us. And we have a cross, though, towards the downside, negative cross. Well, that's happening at the lower end of this wedge. That's what I meant about things kind of consolidating. They're doing a wedge. There is a potential for things to break down the way, but if they continue to go towards the top side, then they've had a chance to reset the oscillators, putting us in a position to go into even higher in a way that's actually achievable, whereas previously, going up and pushing past our previous highs on the oscillator here, the RSI, for instance, on the 24-hour time frame, would have put us into territory which is, very, very, very rare for us to spend any degree of time in whatsoever. So we've already come up to that and thereabouts. Now we could go on, and it's conceivable we could even put in a higher high without divergence. Now this would be similar to the feeling that we had when we saw Bitcoin breaking past its all-time highs and going in that $30,000 and $40,000 territory. Then things get really truly exciting for us, and we could look beyond even the 1800 territory that I was talking about, with a potential target, dare I say it, coming in at perhaps $3,600. Anyway, let's not get too carried away, and we'll just trade things as they stand. Thanks so much for tuning in for that one. Oran Calendar, great surname, by the way. Should we buy, bro? What are we looking to buy? What are you talking about? Shall we buy potato chips? If you buy, yes, but I'm a trader, so I tend to use, we deserve the intro, says Marcin. So should you buy? Wonder what you want to buy. If you're talking about buying bananas, is it probably a good idea. Just don't eat too many of them or you will suffer from potassium poisoning. In fact, that is true. You can indeed overdose on bananas, believe it or not. If you're talking about whether you should buy cryptocurrency in general, probably is a bull market until such times as the bull market is fully not in place anymore, then sure, but I'm not going to be there to manage your account for you. And if the price of Bitcoin starts breaking down below 28,000, I'm not going to be in your ear at the time saying to you, how's it going? Are you thinking about holding on to this position or not, which you're already X% down in, etc., etc. And or I'm not going to be there at 31,000 when you stop out and the prices then go back up to 33,000 again, etc., etc., etc. I can't actually can't actually manage your account for you remotely, unfortunately. Although I will tell you what's happening with the prices when I happen to be doing videos, and it does, generally speaking, last for more than 48 hours in terms of the general predictions that I'm making on the channel. Yes, you should buy. You should just use a stop loss to make sure that you are safe. There is a potential for a move up towards is $50,000 with Bitcoin. Yeah, okay, go for it. Now, if we see the prices going down past, say, 28,000, you might also consider whether or not you want to go neutral, and we could see follow through if we break structure, and you might want to buy, if you like, some short positions or some sell some calls or buy some puts, whatever. The theme music is quality. Crown's theme sounds like what you would get if Chad Kroger decided to make techno. Total red dills to the ear. red dills to the ear. That's funny. We've all got different tastes. We've all got different tastes. Major XRP pump incoming. Buy now or lose out. Raf Bean. XRP will moon tonight. Raf. Wow. Maybe that's what Orhun Calendar, again, great surname, was saying. Was he talking about X to the R to the mother effing P's? Oh, let's look at this. Oh, wow. Already got some stuff drawn on here. Well, that didn't work out so well, did it? I mean, there was me telling everybody that there was a potential measured move down to 19 cents, and it went down as low as 17.8 cents. That's 17.25. That was so stupid of me. How did I get that so wrong? God. Idiot. yeah. Anyway, we're gonna pump. We're going to pump, yeah. Going to pump, yeah. Are we going to pump? Yeah. I really just am not that inclined to do some Ripple technical analysis. I mean, I don't think that there's going to be much in here because this is all, you know, we're currently in a we know that these markets are highly manipulated, the Ripple markets, because they're being sued for it right now. Nevertheless, if Ripple, who've sold, you know, whatever technical, let's just do it, because I mean, I did do it in the past, so why not do it again, hey? Nope. Nope, nothing really to learn there. Anything of real significance that really needs to be talked about in terms of this thing? Struggling to get back above the 618 that we've gone down the golden pocket on. So fair enough, you know, easy enough to manage your risk about these areas. We haven't tested the 4. We've come back down so close. You know, we saw the cross here. I so often point these things out to people. You see a golden cross over here. The prices go up the way. This is considered to be, you know, brilliant and everything else. But when do you want to get in on a move of this thing? Well, you want to get in on a move of a retest, you know, generally speaking. Your man in the chat there says that it's going to pump tonight. Well, I mean, if we get a decent heartbeat in it around this area, there is the potential for it. I'd like to say that if you are looking towards the top side and you want to, like, you know, take profits on anything, a clear area to be taking those profits actually sits in around about 57 rather than necessarily all the way up as high as we even were today, if you're just looking for a move from where we are right now. And looking at the price difference, you know, that's a 40% increase in price, so it's not too lousy on the grand scheme of things. If we do actually want to, you know, take off and look at things going higher and higher and higher, then obviously that clear area in there, which is forming like a twin peak almost on the 4 hour here. But, you know, in terms, let's just look at the 2 day to balance this out a bit. You're getting this twin peak here from when we had the pre-SEC suing buying our own coin airdrop price manipulation scam down the way and then back up, forming a double top there. Structurally, you know, we're still obviously in a downtrend, as you can see, so like that's the case. Let's just look at this in terms of the weekly. And well, you know, let me see these lows. They didn't take out our previous lows. Notably, this is fairly notable. We did actually take them out. Sorry, we closed lower than them, but that's kind of like whatever. Are we in an upward trend? Till we take a weekly high out above 62. So I said 57 earlier on, or 59, whatever it was. Could see some flux in around that 5-cent region between 57 and 62, and that would be the point at which, you know, departure lounge starts to fill up and you really talk about things on a weekly basis as having the potential for upside. But yeah, you know, we'd also need to see things really take off for this coin. Is it realistic? I mean, is it realistic or not? I mean, we know that it is because we know, like, it doesn't matter. Just like the VW example that TradeSpot and I were talking about earlier on. And we know that if people had gone really heavy negative on XRP because the likes of Coinbase and all the rest of it get involved in market manipulation, directly or indirectly, when they talk about listing coins and everything else, and they use a good degree of insider knowledge, etc. You know, and like the likes of Grayscale, who we all love so much, that told everybody that they sold all their Ripple when in fact they were just buying more and more and more of it. So, you know, you talk about market manipulation, especially in this coin, and it's all actors, all the big actors like to get involved in it. Then it's hard to. And then what's the point I'm trying to make here? Yeah, then, you know, maybe we see it, that it does go up, and we can start to think about all-time highs, etc. again as the plane flies all the way up the way. Woo! Is it realistic when there's this coin is complete crap? It's got no utility apart from on-demand liquidity, as opposed to you know, speculation, etc. Is it realistic? Well, it is realistic. You know, it is realistic. It is realistic, but I would say that quite simply, I would always be managing my risk with regards to this one using fairly aggressive stops probably if my position went into profit, and be happy enough to take whatever profit was on the table. We've witnessed it today with XRP. We witnessed it the other day with Dogecoin. Let me just bring up Dogecoin again for us. So we know what the chat is with regards to this. I told everybody about it as well. Go off the weekly. The weekly makes it look better than the video the other day at the time. Did say, you know, that there could be tiers, etc. We saw it breaking outside of this triangle that we talked about, and the prices went all the way down as low as 21. You know, from the break of the triangle, there was a 50% drop in price. 50% from the break of the thing. So I mean, if you want to manage your position wisely, is probably, I mean, this TA was spot on. 69 views, by the way. 69 views that video got on YouTube. Suppose you didn't need me to tell you that the prices were going to drop by, you know, these like, to tell you that. I did say it was going to go to -5 cents. I admit that's, you know, that was me trying to make a meme out of a meme. Anyway, we dropped down the way significant, I suppose, and then we come back up, and that's great. That's great. It's great. It's great. So what does that tell you, though? That there's, you know, potentially good buying opportunities, and we've seen it happen again with regards to XRP. So could we see it happen again? You know, I'd give you another opportunities down the line to on this coin or another. Yeah, but if we see a turnaround from here, great. We've come down. We've come towards the 4 hour. What was it like on Dodge as well? Yeah, same sort of deal. Came down towards the 4 hour thing after having a crossover here. I mean, you can see how this is the hallmarks in these two coins are exactly the same. Yeah, cool. But let's just assume that the market manipulation that's going on with Dodge is the same market manipulation. Now, this is terrible stuff, right? Terrible stuff. Okay, be warned. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and do it, right? So we came from this area to that area. Let's do it kind of roughly. Lol. And we went down to 786, up here towards 618. Actually up 2 Fibonacci points, back down to 618 again on that one. In terms of percentage drop-offs, 50% drop-off in price. So we saw that with Ripple. Then we went up from the lows. We went up 100%. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're going to pump potentially. We got 2 targets. One of them is 100% that we just discovered a second ago, and another one is to go up to the up to 49. So we'll go with a move up from 39 to 49 as our first move, really in terms of Dodge type manipulation. And then if we want to go for a percentage type manipulation, you know, thinking about things from a sort of logarithmic manipulative point of view, if you like, then we could be looking up towards our previous highs in there, which would of course outperform Dodge in that sense. Wonderful stuff. Well done, Ripple. We always knew you had it in you. Why am I looking at that crap at all? Oh, see you later, John. Thanks for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Wonder why Nightbot. Oh, gotta go. Sound of the police. Bye, all. You're gonna get arrested. Uh-oh, watch out. Marcin, you gotta go as well. Time to go. Wish you all a lovely evening. Smiley face. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Trading reversals or breakouts, it's the risk you are looking for, not one specific asset or trade that will change your life. Right, cool. That's a good one. XRP is in a banana market. Yeah. Right. So I suppose I'm supposed to talk about the things that I came here to talk about eventually. Okay, let's just do it. Let's just try and do it, like, naturally. Try and do it naturally, as they say in Paris in the springtime. Oh, wait a minute. Hello, my friends. Rocky.outcrop here to talk about Chainlink. That's right, our friend Chainlink. It's still been going sort of sideways and down, or sideways, waiting to explode back again towards the top side. We've not really taken out any significant areas towards the downside, so we're still looking fairly rosy. Can we achieve it? Yes, we can. Are there still good buy entries to be had? Well, there still are. Let's take a look at that and more in just a second. Thanks so much for joining me. Of course, by the way, my name is Rocky.outcrop, and if you would like to hit that like and subscribe button, then I would massively appreciate appreciate it. And let's just take a look at the charts together. Again, thank you for joining me. We have that target in mind up above, going towards the top end of the wedge now, you know, still looking up towards $26, $27. It's still totally possible. We still know as well that we don't want to be taking out this red line here down towards the 21 area, 21.3, below 21.5. Now if we do want to have a decent buy entry point, you know, currently what we're looking to, I suppose, is anything in it around about where we had our lows of today. That's quite good, but we're not really managing to push on up the way as yet. I think we will see it when we see it happening for us. Let me just put this back, take it off of logarithmic, and show you that we have you know, the chance for this to continue to operate in terms of just simply being like a channel or a wedge, whatever, it depends, you know, because gonna have to edit that a wee bit, I reckon. Anyway, yeah, so we're still doing pretty well, but if you look down here towards the lower term time frames to try and see when things might start to explode for us, then maybe we'll get a bit of a better indication for us, taking out certain moving averages, etc. Oh, what am I trying to say here? What am I actually trying to say here? Let me just think about this for a second, because I don't particularly care, you know, massively about what I'm trying to say here. And so what's this look like? Got a wee crossover there, got a wee crossover here. Hi friends, Chainlink's been going a little bit of the old sideways, hasn't it? Oh, actually, I don't need to do the intro, I've already done the intro. I'll just cut it back to when the intro was. Ha, how about that? So, welcome to the charts, friends. Thanks for joining me. And here we can see the sideways action on the no sure thing indicator, telling us that, of course, here in the 4-hour time frame, there's a degree of the old sideways on the go. And we can see that in terms of the price action. While we have sloped a little bit outside of where I'd speculatively drawn in a lower upward diagonally sloping support line, the yellow brick road as we were calling it, we've actually come in close enough to just say that that's acting as support in terms of it being on the logarithmic chart there. Well, the line's a million miles away, whatever. Oh god, it's just like, obviously I'm just not in the mood to be doing static videos today, the way that this is working out. This is the video where I lose subscribers, I reckon. Right, anyhow, still, we're still looking for Bitcoin to... Bitcoin? I'm not even talking about the right coin anymore. John Range, what are you saying? What up, Rocky? ETH is coiling up. Big move up or down soon, hoping it's up. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And thanks for the opportunity to just like take a second to chat about stuff. Yeah, I totally agree with you. We're seeing that across the board, really. You know, if I bring up this oscillator down below, this is the DMI. And that, of course, is showing us that coiling up effect that you're talking about, John Range, with regards to Ethereum. That is the same sort of dealio. That's the same thing that we're dealing with here with regards to Chainlink. On the 4-hour time frame, we're waiting for an explosion to happen. That's not unusual in terms of certain other assets. Where did we see this in terms of, for instance, we're seeing the same thing over here on Bitcoin, and we're waiting for the crypto markets in general to really respond. If I just want to take a look at the total market cap, you can see that we're in it around about that 1 trillion area, asking questions again, and it's nice to be there while we've seen a decline in the Bitcoin pricing overall, you know, that we're back up here getting a little bit closer to our highs than we had been before in terms of the potential for alts, such as, of course, Ethereum, which has been performing better than Bitcoin with an upward rising wedge on the charts, with the potential, of course, to break that bullishly, buck the trend, as we talk about in the Ethereum video, of course. And we're still looking and saying, well, we've had a retest of this triangle over here on the total market cap. We could still get a measured move. Of course, this whole thing could fail and just become like a big rectangle or something else. We'll discuss all those things if we need to at the time, but that's kind of, you know, that's what we're seeing across the board. And then the total market cap, when I was saying that it's not, you know, unusual, we're seeing that here, 4-hour time frame, same thing with ADX, everything be about to go wild. Now, of course, that could be the likes of Chainlink. So what would Chainlink be doing if it were to go wild? Well, first off, and forgive me again for these lines not lining up properly, but first off, we'd be looking towards the top end of our rising wedge or channel. in terms of the potential for upside moves, and that takes us all the way up towards $30. Now there's various other things that take us up towards $30. No big secrets here. For instance, we've got the 1618 coming in at $30 as well if we take a recent high to low for a Fibonacci extension. So there's plenty of things that are seen there in terms of Chainlink and it's coiling up and where it could take us, but this volatility that we're seeing might incline the prices to move 10% or so and then retrace again back down the way and give everybody a sort of scare along the way. We'll have to be careful for actual proper volatility in the near future, but of course if that just cascades towards the top side, that's what we'll be looking at. If we do actually break out of these zones, then we've got 3 fake out territories below us to really be aware of. $20 will $21 and is a big one down to sort of 20.5, and then the next area comes in at 17, right? This has all been higher highs and higher lows. This is flux in between. If we take out this previous low, then it makes this into a descending triangle with a measured move that was being fulfilled, and of course the potential for a turnaround. There's your sort of measured move off of a descending triangle. Pop that in here, it breaks the structure. That's what you'd be looking at, and that'd be negative enough to move us outside of the wedge and take us beyond a fake out territory down the way. Now of course if we don't actually do that and we break towards the top side, and this isn't something like an Adam and Eve as well, for instance, again same sort of measured move, always more or less always works out the same, then you'd be looking up towards perhaps starting to trend towards the top side, perhaps starting to take out other targets up the way, but we're still going to have to bear in mind any potential supports for us. $30 on the card, plenty of percentage points to be had. Will we get there overnight? Well, that'd be funny. Hi friends, this is Tezos Technical Analysis. Thank you so much for joining me, really do appreciate it. If you hit that like and subscribe button, then you're a special type of hero. We're going to talk about how Tezos could be flying on up the way towards potential targets such as $6.90, etc. My name's Rocky Outcrop, as those intro credits just said to you. Let's take a look at the charts together. So bringing up the Tezos chart, this is the 4-hour time frame that we have on the go, using the current price line as an indication, as a horizontal line to look towards where we are right now. Looking back the way, obviously this is a significant area for us. We knew that anyway. We talked about it in the recent past. Zooming on into the price action of late, and bearing in mind what we said recently, an aggressive entry would have been 280. That obviously leaves you slightly exposed to the potential to go down to 270 like we were speaking about, and of course as well then that was a better entry for us. Now we didn't actually manage to come down towards the 200 simple. Good job we didn't really in the 4-hour time frame, because that would have taken out our previous market structure. If we actually continue to go to consolidate and want to put in more of this in terms of sideways in general price action for what we've been doing over the last couple of days, then there's potential to revisit those zones again. Okay, fine, but we also have the potential for this to then have given us that entry that we spoke about in the previous episode. So let's just pop that on there using the aggressive entry that we spoke about, and use a long position to talk about it and say that we got in at around about 280. Of course, better positions were available, and we were looking towards where we might want to be taking our profits on this one. There's a couple of different ways of looking at it. Now, if we were to consider that we're going to look at this from a longer term point of view, and that we could be potentially going up for a bull market move, as we have been having for the last wee while, one of them, another one of them, potentially another one of them, where could that come in at? And we have a couple of ways of figuring out some of those targets real quick. Just an easy example of some of them, of course, takes us all the way up towards the 1618 in there at $3.87, and that is actually already offering us up a 4.85 risk to reward ratio here in terms of stopping out past follow through and continuation past our previous low, the 0 point of the Fibonacci retracement, and the 200 simple. So you got your confidence there to stack up against your potential move, and that doesn't even take us as high as where the prices could ultimately go. We are in fact looking up in terms of the potential for the next big target in terms of this one, as high as $6. Now, could it happen? Yes, it could. We've seen various cryptos explode of late. Am I telling people that this is going to happen right now? Certainly not. I'm actually talking about how you could potentially trade something here and it could definitely go against you with the prices going down to 270 over the next wee while. But this is the idea that we spoke about previously, and it's about time then, we suppose, we talked about profit taking targets. Now, if you were to be more scrupulous with your trading and thinking to yourself that you didn't want to actually expose yourself to any potential movements past the low that we had the other day, saying that, for instance, or that yesterday, saying that, for instance, maybe you got in on this low down there at 270 because you recognize 280 as being an aggressive entry like we spoke about at the time, and you wanted to keep this in here as a nice 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, it actually means that you can look up, well, it's just past the golden pocket in terms of the Fibonacci retracement point for us here. If I just pop on the golden pocket, you can see a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, more or less, if you're sort of sticking in it around about your previous entry, takes you up towards that. Now it's more like 4-to-1 if I'm perfectly honest. Say you want to stop out in profit and you're looking towards the 618. Actually no, you want to stop out in profit, you're looking towards 618, perfect. 5.75 to 1, perfect, great, nice one. So that's what we're looking at. Is that the next one on the cards? I don't know, could be, and that would be $3.10. That would be a lovely move to have. If you can always hit 5-to-1s, then you're probably doing pretty well on your trading. Right, great, nice one, that'll do, I suppose, on that one. Oh, by the way, big drop incoming, says Manuel. Well, I wonder what he was talking about there. Could it be the case? If it is the case, how about you say you decided to take your long, or your so if you were to actually wanted to follow what Manuel is saying just there, then absolutely you can. Looking at the 236 over here, then we could be, oops, that's a long position. If we were looking to put a short in, maybe managing your risk in it around about the 236 would be wise enough. If we were looking for a big drop in terms of a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, not managing to take out the 50 simple period moving average over there, looks like you could be, if you were looking, pardon me, to not take out the 50 but yet still remain in the bullish trend, and you're looking for a 5-to-1 roughly, then that comes in around about where we have this the 230s area where we spoke about in the recent past in terms of achieving a 5-to-1 ish risk to reward ratio. There we go, that's 5-to-1. So there we have it. That's a higher low overall, and of course you'd be stopping out at around about that 50 simple if that would be the case, and you planning on trading at a break of the 236 towards the downside, for instance, just as an example. Okay, so there you go. Might as well throw one out there for both sides of the coin. Like and subscribe, by the way, really appreciate it when people do that. See you next time. Okay, so I've not actually gone anywhere, by the way, for people who are curious, although no doubt people tune out when I talk like that. And I've done Tezos, I've done Chainlink, or did I? Oh, I interrupted myself doing the Chainlink one. Oh, damn it. Did I? Hi friends, let's take a look at Chainlink real quick. My name's Rocky Outcrop, and we love the Chainlink over here. The linky, stinky, sminky, but it has been, of course, pulling sideways for the last wee while. Will it be able to pull itself up by its bootstraps and go towards our higher targets? Maybe it will. The higher targets we have in mind at the minute coming in around about $30. The 1618 on the Fibonacci retracement from our previous high down to our previous low comes in at that price point. And that's in at the top end of our channel as well, in there at that $29 up to $30. I suppose. Don't get too greedy on it. If you did want to get too greedy though, we could be looking up to various extensions beyond those zones. We'll not get too carried away until such times as we've got a break of whatever this is at the minute. Could it be a wedge? Could it be a channel? It could be. We've not got a resolution on it just yet, and so long as things continue to follow the upward price action. In fact, I had another chart on there with the yellow brick road on it. So in fact, so long as things continue to follow the yellow brick road towards the top side, then things are looking pretty good, bringing us in for that target up towards the upper end of it. Now, of course, we have various things to be aware of. Diminishing volume throughout this period of the bearish divergence across the board. Lots of numerous things, bearish divergence over here in the no sure thing indicator, for instance, as well. And over here in the DMI and the 4-hour time frame, this warning that we're going to get a big degree of volatility in the near future, which could see the prices go up and even back down to where they left off from. So, all that sort of thing to be bearing in mind, because, things are looking a little bit like that could be the case. And if we were to break towards the downside, it might be that we look back in time and say that this area here actually was a descending triangle, or indeed an Adam and Eve, etc. That's the kind of looking back between the price action of the 28th of January up to where we find ourselves now on the 4-hour time frame, if you want to look at that at home yourself. So the measure move off the back of that actually takes out the market structure of the 618 and our previous low in there on that $20.50 area, and then you're going to look towards areas down such as $19.25 and $17 thereafter. Okay, but if we're going to go towards the top side, then that's what we're looking to at the minute. Easy enough to manage your risk on this one, just like I've been talking about on the Tezos video, and I put in a couple of positions for us to see in terms of examples. You know, you could be looking up towards any target in it around about that for us. And if I just bring up this full screen, in terms of managing your risk, if you were looking at it from this point of view, taking out your previous low over there, then it means that you're operating with a rough expectation of a 5-to-1. That's of course just from arbitrarily choosing from where the prices are right now. Hopefully you yourself would do a better job than just simply picking an area on the charts, more or less just based on the random time you happen to be looking at them. So hopefully you'd be doing a better job than that. But if you were to, then managing your trading around about this sort of idea means that you've got risk management built in there as well, and that should hopefully serve you well. Okie dokes. Right, cool. So I've definitely done Chainlink as well. I think I've done Bitcoin and Ethereum. Struggling to remember now. Yeah, I did do them. By the way, I don't personally trade when I'm sick. So some of my lack of sort of whatever, you get the point. I've not actually been trading today. I've not been sat there executing trades and going into tissues and shivering and all the rest of it. Decided that I would probably be better off financially if I didn't do that. There's a hell of a delay on the channel, by the way, at the minute. I think there's something along the lines of like a 2-minute delay. So that's pretty awful. At the time that I was speaking right now, I can see the YouTube broadcasting showing that I've just started doing that Chainlink TA. So there you go. Look at Cardano, says John Torpy. Good, nice one, because I was getting a bit bored there myself, to be perfectly honest with you, of looking at those other ones. Ooh, look at Cardano, 4-hour time frame, just taking out his previous highs, gone wicked past them. That's decent enough. What do we have here? Movements past the 236. Oh, broke past it quite nicely. Didn't even properly come back for a retest, having already put in this structure over here, which looks a bit like one of those W's. So that's decent. What did we get here? Was there any hidden bullish divergence? That would be nice to see if there was some. Oh, look, there was some between these 2 points just here. That's moved us up the way. That kind of seemed to make sense to me, looking at that price action, the way that went, by the way, with that kind of W type effort that we were looking at. So that's why that's there. Looking over here, we can see that there isn't that hidden bullish divergence, but there is certainly a nice upward cross that happened at this low over here as we took out the 50 simple, and that's decent to see. Moving past the 37.0 the 0.37 area where we had that blue horizontal line, and that's good to see. Upward trending though with bearish divergence. One high over here, if you like, this low, which was actually came in I think as a higher low, it looks like it to be just now. So this overall period of price action since the 22nd of January here on the 4-hour time frame, nice upward trend that we've had. High, low, etc. But of course Stochastics showing us that they're very much bearishly divergent. Now the RSI isn't giving us that picture. Okay, so we have these highs in here more or less, and these highs in here. Now the market has been kind of oscillating sideways a little bit though, so I would put a little bit more emphasis on the bearish divergence we're seeing on the MACD than I normally have, and that's just kind of talking about it from a 4-hour perspective of seeing a negative crossover here on this one might cause a little bit of a point of concern for us in terms of the potential for little retraces as we've had throughout this movement so far. Drawing it in and measuring that out, sort of thing that we're seeing is a 618 over there, then thereafter sort of coming in for the 618s. Yeah, so it's sort of like the what you might think is that if we saw a retracement here, we could come in for a 618 properly again. That would be in at about 33 or so. But lifting this up, I know it's very noisy, you can't see it at home. Now I can no longer see it on my computer screen, but then looking at this one, then a decent re-entry comes in on a retest of that 50 simple period moving average, coming in for a higher low at the 618 in there at 35. That would be decent for me. I'm not excited about buying tops on markets, tend to avoid doing that if possible. However, you know, if things continue to push on the way, is there something that would give me the reason to want to do that, to follow the trend right now in terms of jumping in off the charts price action wise? Is there that possibility? Let me just double check and see in terms of managing my risk here with this one. Go auto, hide that stupid menu, zoom on in. Now remember I talk about the risk of things coming back to where they were before. It's only the 15-minute time frame though, but if we were to go that's 34, so that would tie in nicely with a retrace back down to that area. That would be all good. That would be all good. It'd certainly be more exciting to me taking a position from there in terms of managing risk as well. Okay, so that would be all good. We could certainly push on a little bit further from where we are right now. I feel like there's a pretty decent chance that we will. It's probably worth pointing out as well that in terms of structure, you know, we've done something pretty decent so far. Now, we don't need to continue doing it right this minute. Put in the Donchian channels. You can see here. Maybe I need to make them white so you can see them a bit easier. Upper, white, lower, white. And that doesn't really help, but we've clearly broken it. You know, we've clearly broken it. Got that has gone well. But looking back over to the left, and we've broken these ones as well. Yeah, it's clearly, obviously, was very obvious. But the point I was trying to make, is that, you know, we've got a little bit left to go here, as we've seen with the previous highs, etc. along the way. But going on a massive amount more and being able to successfully capture, you know, the likes of sort of 10% or 5% even is a big ask at this stage. Now, it is possible, but I think that we would probably see something happening in it around about that 38 area if we continue at the minute towards the top side. I'm not like wanting to FOMO into this right now at that particular price point right there, even though that particular exit point is, you know, enough of a move up to be able to sort of not lose money on it. But what you're talking about here is there's being preferable entry points down below currently, and if it does go on the way, well, then you suppose you missed the move. How would we know that we've broken enough of a structure to say that we're going on the way further immediately without a hint of regret about things? Okay, so suppose perhaps we're looking at this overall. Just hide all the drawings for a second. Oh yeah, actually doesn't look too bad in terms of the bigger time frame. So you know, it's obviously you've obviously missed a good move and all that, but this, you know, we could easily go on up the way towards 41 and then put in a wedge, for instance. That sort of idea, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trading this right now myself, to be honest with you. Maybe I should be. What if I was? Try and put myself in that mentality. Even though I kind of already did. Are we seeing a pullback right now from what I was talking about? Yeah. Aye. So I wouldn't have bought that at that moment. That was like, sorry, it's hard for me to put on the broader perspective. Night Phil, by the way, Night Phil, Navrup, Sendu. You want to take a look at Ethereum? Well, I could maybe jump back over there in a minute. Phil, good night, buddy. Good night. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, so as you can see there, that it's hard for me to I was, for some reason today, I've been wanting to talk about things along the lines of, if I was trading it immediately in the short term right now, what would I do? Sort of, it's been tempting. And yeah, I mean, a movement down past that area, past their blue line, so we'd be going past the 236, you know. Could we find support? Sure, we absolutely could move on up the way, but from that exact price point of the 38s, didn't want to do it. Now we're down at 37 something. So how much profit was left on the table when I mentioned it? You know, up 1.5, dropped 1 and a bit since talking about it. Yeah, not super fantastic. All right, no, but it's doing very, very well, and I expect it to continue doing very well. Obviously, prices move up and down. We're all aware of that. So where would the next targets be? Well, 39 and 41 do strike me as being the next targets towards the top side, with any movements past where we've been at recently. We had this head and shoulders over here, and really the targets, you know, the shoulder, for instance, is going to be a clear area for us, and the big inflection points that we had at around about where the head of this thing was, big inflection points for us as well towards the top side in terms of you know, moving past this. This is a 15-minute time frame, and that's only looking back as far as the 18th of January over there. Did get the full measured move off the back of that Cardano one, so whoever asked me to look at Cardano back then, I hope that was helpful, if indeed I was doing that. If I was doing that at the time for Cardano, I believe I probably was. I don't know, but who knows. Then we went on a lot more. But you know, could be a short to medium term reversals when you see these things, and of course this failing to take out the blue line is what precipitated further movements towards the downside. The blue line as well then being followed up really rapidly with a 236 break, you know, back down the way again. At the minute, in terms of best entries for you, you're looking at that 236 in there at 35. Otherwise, sure, there might be a move happening, but whatever. There might be, there might not be. If you're just joining me, by the way, then why not hit that like and subscribe button? I would really appreciate it. Taking a quick look at Ethereum, because somebody asked me to, even though I've already looked at that in extreme detail earlier on. What we're looking at here with Ethereum is the potential to be going towards the top side, and this is obviously small term time frames, but nevertheless, taking out the 1360 area is going to be, you know, decent. But I would see us getting a potential pullback from just there, perhaps down to the sort of 1300 area yet again, 1320 probably realistically. Your next target after that is going to be $1,401, with the potential to get back in again, I suppose, if we continue along the same sort of ways as what we have at about 1369. But you know, that's all scalpy behavior. That's kind of bit I don't mean to waste your time, but I've already looked at this in actual technical analysis methods, and what we're really looking to at the minute is to whether or not we can continue towards rising towards the top side. Your real next target really comes in at around about that 1450 area if we're able to break past the 1400 zone. Really, how you get there in terms of like little oscillations in the 15-minute time frame is neither here nor there, and I don't care to bring that up on the channel particularly. But I would say that if we were to go down past 1290, then we could be coming down the way towards some of our lower targets. I moved off the 12-hour time frame because I didn't want you to get too distracted by the 50 simple period moving average in there, and saying that as long as we stay above the 50% area and don't have closures below 1200, then we're doing okay. If we start to close below 1200, then 1000 is your next target, probably looking at 1070 if we're going to be like sort of nitpicking about things, and then you're looking down after that towards 900 and 750. But of course the upside targets remain in place. Taking out 461 is the first thing we need to do, and actually closing and get some degree of follow through if you're to get back into a trade with movements past the retest of this breakout, you know. So check out TradeSpawn's video if you like breakouts. If you're to come back for a retest of this, then your next target thereafter would be in there at about 1700 or so, and that's obviously a nice big jump up the way. Do I think XRP is going to go up again as well, was the next question that came in. And essentially I said during the episode that that this would be a decent enough entry point for us if we saw it coming back down to 31. We did see in terms of the 24-hour time frame that this coming in close for a cross. If we had a cross here, we would have, you know, a retest of this would be nice. A retest of the 50 simple moving average. Keep an eye out for that over the next wee while. In terms of the short-term time frames, and you know, the next day or two, could we go up again? Yeah, we could. I spoke about it in terms of Dogecoin, for instance. Dogecoin, if we were to see this operate as support, we could have a target up there at, what did I say it was earlier on? I can't remember what I said the target was earlier on. Just, I would say 51. I think it was 51 that I said. No, 57. We've got that line. 51, 57, 62 are the targets thereafter. If you want to look up the way beyond any of that, then, you know, whatever. I mean, like, whatever, really. Like, if you're trading this and you're trading it without stops at the minute, then you're just handing money over. I mean, this here candle is the exploitation of dumb money in the markets. That's what that is. It's because the prices went up here by loads and loads of percentages. But say you even got in at this point here where you could have stopped out but chose not to, the prices then went up another 56%, and you didn't choose to take any profits after prices had already gone up 56%. So what can I tell you? You're not really a trader, you're just here for the memes. And if that's the case, well then there's a sort of meme thing for you on your charts. Okay, cool. But if you are a trader, then you took profit at that point. You're looking at the prices having come down to here, and obviously until we see a resolution of what we're looking at the minute, then no, the prices aren't going up. We just chunked down the way, you know. But could they go up? Well, here's another reason for you in terms of where they come down to. They're bang on the 618 golden pocket. That's a perfect place for a retrace. So yeah, they could go up again. You're a trader, so you manage your risk appropriately, and perhaps you're looking towards 34 as being an area you stop out on, unwilling to lose more in terms of the movement down the way than 16%. Okay, we don't want to see that happen, but you know, you're unwilling to go more than that, of course. And then if it did move up towards the top side, you're thinking about taking some profits in about certain areas, like if it went up to 47, or indeed the areas we already spoke about, say it went up 25% to 51, or it went up 37% to 50, or 40% to 57 and something. So you know, then you'd be looking at for sure taking profits on things. But are you a trader and are you not a trader though? I mean, like that's the question, right? Do you think XRP gonna go up again? I mean, what are you asking? What are you asking? Because people who are asking these questions, generally speaking, have got a position involved. Where did you get in at? Getting in at a clear test of your previous support, okay. Managing your risk by like breaking down past this area, probably advisable when you look about how we're actually broken that previous area support, and that the 50 simples down there below us having not been retested properly since we had a cross of those moving averages there. Just to broaden your mindset for a split second here, then let me show you how, in terms of dodge, we went down the way and we just went down another chunk thereafter. It doesn't look like a massive amount considering we've come back up since then again, but you're talking about 30% drop off just between that area and that area. So I mean, am I going to tell you how to trade this? I could tell you how to manage your risk appropriately and how you may or may not find a degree of success in this. Whether I think it's going to go up again or not, it's kind of besides the point whenever we know that it's a highly manipulated market and it isn't worth 80 cents. It just isn't, it's not. But then again, hey, whatever. I mean, it's manipulated. If they were to release all of the funds that they've got locked away and just let the markets operate on a free basis, that would be one thing, but they don't. So for me to say whether I think the prices are going up again or not, it's kind of for me to say, do I think that the XRP are going to manipulate the markets, or somebody else like Grayscale or somebody else manipulate the markets in the meantime? And yeah, I think they probably will manipulate the markets, but whether they do it to your benefit or not, it's another question entirely, and I'm afraid I can't give you an answer on that one. What am I saying? I'm saying it's bullshit. Navrup Sandru, he did loads and loads on Ethereum. You might want to watch the near the start after this bit. Cool. Yeah, cool. You probably would. Yeah, now I'm seeing that the video is still a couple of minutes behind schedule. I'm not scheduled, but I'm filming this live, and I can tell by looking at my back end of YouTube that the stream is a couple of minutes behind me. The latency, not the best, but there we have it. So I'll say now that I'm going to tune out soon, and that means that it won't be for another couple of minutes till you hear me saying it, which means from a couple of minutes past the point here that I'm at now, you've got an opportunity to say anything that you'd like me to take a look at or investigate or anything like that before I do a reverse roll call and tune out. Okay, otherwise then No, I just already said the otherwise part. So yeah, there you have it. That's what you've got. A couple of minutes there. So get in there with your askings, because I'm going to be tuning out soon. And I'm not joking this time. Thank you very much to X.0ZENN. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight, Phil. Thanks, Navrup. People enjoy the video earlier on when I talked about Ethereum extensively. Hi Phil, thanks so much for tuning in again. John Range, thank you so much for tuning in. Marcin, thank you so much for tuning in. Mod my phone 187, is XRP worth a buy now? Only if you're willing to manage your risk. If you're not willing to manage your risk, you'll almost certainly get wiped out. If you're just wanting to be a degen about things, yeah, sure, just don't put all of your life savings onto it. You want to have another look at things where it's another look at things, probably not, but I'll just, since I'm waiting for people for the video to catch up with me, which is still not done, I don't think, then I can bring it up again for a split second. Take a look at it versus Bitcoin. Same story. There's no buy signal coming here for us, There isn't anything to say that you should get in now. No, not even over there. Potential for this cross isn't even fulfilled, in terms of the 1 hour stochastics, and have they crossed over? Well, they just crossed negatively again there now, so there's literally nothing at the minute from a technical analysis standpoint telling you that it's good buy at the minute, unless you just really think that FOMO is technical analysis, and I could tell you that it's not, but if you want to think that it is, that's cool. I don't mind. In terms of the highs, this high came in as being bearishly divergent, so there isn't even anything, even if this wasn't massively manipulated fake market, we've still got a little bit to go, down the way. This is against Bitcoin, but it's the same story over here. Yep, same story everywhere in terms of the crosses not working out and everything else. The big drop off, once this ADX drops down past 50, the likelihood is it continues on the way. It's like saying, is it a good buy here or here or here or here or here or here? Like, none of them were good buys, right? Was this a good buy? Yeah, if you manage your risk. If you're asking like a degen, no, because while you would have made a ton of profit, like easy 50%, you also would have probably got wiped out when it came back down to 17. So there you go. Then was it a good buy at 17? Well, actually it was, for numerous reasons, like bullish divergences, etc., after big lows in oversold territory, yada yada. So look, nice to see. But now we've had the fulfillment of all of that, which is also coming as bearishly divergent, and it isn't worth this much money. It's a piece of shit coin that's doesn't do anything, and is only there to provide liquidity for interbank exchanges, and there's a massive amount of it still just locked up and not being used. It's not a free market, and it's a false thing, you know. But that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Thanks, Rocky. Right, cool. Yeah, let's just see. When is XRP got to go up again? When is XRP got to go up again? Okay. XRP is going to go up again. You know, first off, on the 4-hour time frame, if we actually manage to close above 43, if we close above 43, then with a nice green candle that engulfs the previous one and various other factors, then maybe we're looking at going up again, and you can manage your risk accordingly by stopping out at, say, 37. I'm not a financial advisor, not as financial advice. That's one thing that you could do, and it would probably, unless it was successful, you'd look back at it in the fullness of time and say, that was a pretty shitty trade that I took, right? That was a pretty shitty trade. Because you'd be putting this into your journal and you'd be saying, yeah, so I decided to take a trade to go long on XRP when everything was looking in a negative stance from the 4-hour time frame and below. Okay? Apart from maybe 15 minutes, well, no, 50 minutes. We've had a crossover here. So yeah, the 50-minute time frame, decent cross on the no sure thing. So that's decent. So that's probably good. You know, this is the most likely it's been to turn around at this point here. Are we going to come in with a low? If we come in with a low at this point, then we've got a chance of it actually being bullishly divergent. So that would be nice to see. I'd still rather see it go down again from this point here and go up, you know, a couple of cents. You know, you're talking about a significantly better entry. We've got a death cross about to happen on the 15-minute time frame, though, so I'd be very cautious about moves up to 47 that didn't get any follow through. I'd be definitely taking profit of it. I mean, it depends. Are you trading this thing or are you holding it? There's no point in holding this thing because it's a legitimate scam. It's a scam, right? Why are you holding Ripple? If you're holding Ripple so that on the off chance that it goes up one day to 50 cents, you can sell it, well done, because you sold it, right? If you're holding Ripple because it could go up to 75 cents, well done. Could it go up to $1? Yes, it could, right? Could it go up to $20? Like, you know, yeah, it could, right? Does that make any sense or whatever? No. I mean, are you going to hodl it? Like, would it, like, this is the weekly time frame for Ripple. It's not a very, it's like, you know, but yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Let's hodl it. Let's go for it. We'll get up to $1 or $2 in the meantime. Now, if the world changes and suddenly, you know, Ripple gets brought on with sort of gold-backed currencies, and we see the end of SWIFT and a massive migration towards something after the post-SEC trauma, etc., all of that gets, you know, forgotten about, and Brad Garlickhouse or whatever is on year 2.5 of his prison sentence or something like that. Yeah, brilliant. That's the prime time for it. Could it happen beforehand? Yeah, it could happen beforehand. I'd say big pullbacks would be in store for it if it did. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. We haven't got the bearish divergence on the weekly because we didn't go up as high as that. We could push on beyond it. I mean, it's crap. It's fucking crap. But there is the chance that it gets adopted for some reason to be used for something somewhere in the world that has a point in it, and that is a possibility. Okay, it is a possibility. Would you be wise to take 100% profit when somebody's offering it to you on spot prices? Yes. If you're trading this on leverage and it's gone up by 1,000% and you're sat there going, do I take profit at 1,000% or do I let it drop back down to just 200% profit? Take the goddamn profit, okay? You'll be thanking yourself later that you did, not me, yourself. So anyway, is it going to pump up again today, like 1x30 or something, like times 1.5, 1.3, $1.3 XRP tomorrow? Yeah, Remco, good to have you here, buddy. Nice to see you. I was already going to tune out. Were you watching along beforehand? It's good to have you, Remco. Remco's my favourite person. Everybody knows this. It's been well advertised. But no, it's not. I mean, could it? Yes. Is there any reason for it? No. Do we have like a trend here? Like we've got a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, a lower low, a lower high. Not much of one in terms of 24-hour time frame. Yeah, okay, we've been trending since the SEC set stuff towards the top side. Okay, cool. Anyway, all I'm saying is that there's much better areas to manage your risk at than, you know, wherever you so happen to be looking at the charts. There's areas that are better to manage your risk at than where we are now, necessarily. You know, or any other given point you arbitrarily tune in. Will it go to 130 tomorrow? It could do. I highly doubt it. But I mean, I'm only doubting it based off of technical reasons. I mean, if you want to base it off of reasons like such as stuff that doesn't exist on a price chart, yeah, cool, that's okay. But in terms of like actually being able to justify saying that to anybody in a way that's reasonable, I don't think so. But let's try and find one. You know, so we have targets up above. 1618 comes in there at $1.18. That would be a much better target for you. We also have the 2618 off of the Fibonacci retracement from the high to actually that ultimate low. The 2618 comes in there at 145. 1618 comes in there at closer to $1. Look, if you're looking for that extra 30%, you know, having the prices already gone up 300% or 250% from where they are now to get you to $1, and you're like, I want the prices to go up an extra 30%. I mean, I know they've gone up 250%, but I want it to go up an extra 30% before I take any of my profits off the table. You're asking for trouble, okay? Because while it may well do that, on average, you're going to struggle, and you're planning on trading for more than just one degen moonshot, right? But if you are just here for one degen moonshot and you plan on sort of getting into crypto, doing one trade, getting out, never touching stuff again, and buying your Lamborghini or whatever, then perhaps, right? Okay, just, you know, perhaps, but I can't really tell you. This is just the beginning of a parabolic weekly pump. It just retests support. This weekly candle will form green again. Okay. Okay, Remco. We can see the price line here. This is the 24-hour time frame that we've not retested any support. I've been saying to people this whole time that that there's probably a better entry. Now you're saying that we've just retested support in terms of these two wicks over here, and fair enough, and that could be the case. I would be extremely prejudicial in terms of managing my risk at this point and not let it drop down the significant number of percentage points that it would need to go to actually get to where your last support area was, which is 10% further down. Okay. However, nevertheless, if you were to trade it from here, it's possible to do so. I wouldn't probably experience a 10% drawdown in prices before I'd really thought seriously about what I was doing with my money. But yeah, cool, okay, okie dokie. In terms of the part of the support, yeah, I can see why you'd make that argument. It's a little bit generous, but I can see why you'd make that argument. It's a debate, but you know. Nilo, you guys just got ripped off. Thanks for the free money. Now you're holding the scumbag. Haha. Exactly. Thanks, Nilo, for having said what I was saying, right? This is what I said earlier on when I talked about Dogecoin and talked about how there will be tiers and everything else. I spoke about it already. It was going up way too fast. That's why you get mega fast retrace. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you do expect it to retrace another 10% as well. Yeah, cool. Okay, well then that's a bit more realistic, you know. Yeah, you get a mega fast retrace when things go up so fast. I mean, this is what you can see, 15-minute time frame. Maybe even better to look at this as something like 3-minute time frame, yeah. So you've got this ridiculous upward move here, finding support all the way where it needed to. Then it broke past previous structure, went up towards the top side very, very healthily, found support, moved up the way, found support, moved up the way, and then completely and absolutely catastrophically shat its pants. Completely and absolutely. But then what happened is it went down past its previous supports. So you say, like, it found support here. Well, no, it didn't. Not really. I mean, it found a bounce here. Plenty of profit. I mean, if you don't get whipped out, you're trading without stops and on spot, I perhaps suppose. But if you're trading this on futures, you're getting whipped out here of any trades of the 15% movement up the way just before ditching back down the way. If you're trying to sort of manage your risk here accordingly, then you know, it's difficult. We're seeing this continue throughout the entire time we've been talking. It's been going down the way, giving anybody who is really desperate to get into a better entry. You know, how much has it gone down since we started talking about this here like 5 minutes ago? Another 8%. So there you go. Right, how long have I been talking about this? So there you go. There you go. I can feel satisfied. I can retire satisfied now, knowing that that I saved anybody who is even remotely interested in Ripple since starting this episode. I started this episode 2 hours 27 minutes ago. 2 hours and 27 minutes ago. So the time is now. So I've saved people interested in Ripple. We're talking about it like that. 16%. So if any of you want to donate to the channel, there you go. You can take some of that 16% that I saved you and donate it to the channel. By the way, I'm just joking. That pump was an exit plan for people to cash out with a smart lose. The SEC is going to kill XRP shitcoin. Let's talk about this rationally for a split second as well, just so that we don't get too